us at ROK Atlanta, ROK Pacific, Florida Winter Tour, or ROK Vegas. ROK Cup USA, home of ROK Vegas and the original Florida Winter Tour. ROK Cup USA, serious fun. Got grip? Let her rip. Putting the rubber to the road. Levanto.
From Italy for the world. Vortex engines. Powering ROK Cup champions worldwide.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to live coverage here on ROK Cup USA YouTube, MeTube, RTube.
YouTube.
You2 or YouTube?
Us tube?
RTube.
Everyone's tube, Tony.
I'm Tony Laporta, and he's Chris Wheeler. Not just Chris, he's the Chris Wheeler. And we are coming to you live from high above the front straightaway here at ROK Vegas 2024. And if you are at home, you are hearing live sound and seeing even more live images of race day, finals race day here on Sunday in Las Vegas. VLR Masters are on the grid. Chris Wheeler and I are in the skybox. Chris, how the heck are you?
Good, Tony. Super excited here to kick off Finals Sunday. It's been a great week. I've truly enjoyed it. There's been a lot that we've been watching for. We have a fresh track reset. Had some morning warm-ups this morning for this first group of the day, these first few groups of the day. I think the key points as we look into the finals, Tony, is going to be the duration of these races.
Yes.
Right? They're substantially longer today than they've been all week long.
Yep.
The weather's changed on us. It's cooled off quite a bit. Ambient temperature down, track temperature down, wind is up, right? Ambient only 56 degrees right now. It's going to take a lot to get temp into these Levanto tires. Another thing is with a fresh track reset, yesterday you made note that some of these barriers had kind of pushed out on exit and kind of been moved around throughout the progress of racing. They're back to the marks that were painted on the surface a week ago when we built the track. So drivers are going to be all jacked up on Mountain Dew. They're going to be all jacked up with cold tires, trying to make it their moves early and settle in. And the track's going to be different. I think you're going to have to just survive and advance here.
Survive and advance. It's like it's March, but it's not. It's November, and we are in Las Vegas, Nevada. Chris brought up a great point. The duration of these finals, not just a lot different from heat racing. And Chris, I know you've been looking forward to the longer on-track sessions, more opportunity to see some daring and exciting moves all at the same time.
Well, it depends on which class we're talking about, because right here, when we look at VLR Masters,
yes,
we talked to Sean Owens twice this week, and his biggest thing is just hanging on.
Staying in the seat.
Right?
Staying in the saddle.
Staying in the saddle here. So he's going to start fourth. We haven't seen any fatigue out of Renato David. Martin Stoner, Ben Cooper.
No, they're machines.
They are machines. So that's going to be a big thing today. Who has a little bit extra in the tank to go the distance?
Let's tell you about those durations. Yesterday, everybody was 8 minutes plus 2 laps in heat race action, with the exception of Micro and Mini. They were 6 minutes plus 2 laps, as Jason Larea gives you a live look at what it would be like if you were walking down to the head of the starting grid here at ROK Vegas. Look at Cody Schindel posted up. He's like, bro, get your camera out of my way. No, you get your camera out of my way. You got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
There's a great shot there. Scott Falcone, not the week that he was looking for on board the 799 machine. Big 4-cycle guy, though, trying out these 2-strokes this week.
I don't know if you keep saying big 4-cycle guy because you're a big 4-cycle guy or what.
No, it's because he ran a bunch of 4-strokes this year.
I know. But
and he loves it.
When I was around, he was a big 2-cycle guy.
It's 7 years reset.
So here we go. Anyway, we were saying 8 minutes plus 2 laps for all categories except micro and mini. We're 6 minutes plus 2 laps over heat racing action. That is no longer the case.
No.
VLR will be the first class on track. They are a 13-minute plus 2 lap final. Micro and mini will be 10 minutes plus 2 laps. But we're saving those 125cc finals for the end because, Chris, they are 17 minutes plus 2 laps.
I'll be able to take a nap.
I bet you will. I literally bet you will. And we were taking bets here in the booth last night over how many finals we will see Chris call from start to finish with me here inside. The good news is it is now time to hit the track. Sunday, finals race day, ready to begin here at ROK Vegas.
Well, Tony Laporta, we're in Vegas. Do you have your pen?
In my backpack, I'm sure I do.
I would love to see that pen.
Yes, I will work on that.
Because we're going to bet today.
Okay. You don't want to run through that starting lineup like at my pen, do you?
No.
All right, of course not.
You pitched a perfect game this week.
Yeah.
Why would I want to jeopardize what you've done so well?
I got a Sharpie. Will that work
That's
for you?
perfect.
Okay. All right, we got Ben Cooper and Martin Stone bringing them around on the front row of this VLR Masters A main event. Let's tell you about the great sponsors who will bring this racing to us here today. As the field makes their way already to the back straightaway, we are wasting no time. VLR Masters are brought to you by Orsalon Racing. Ben Cooper and Martin Stone are the front row with Renato David and Sean Owens in row number 2. Dan Jones and Matthew Ostagai are in row 3. Tim Meyer, Paul Elefante, Kyle Hayner, and Alexander Dalbon are the top 10.
My pick here, Martin Stone. Tony Laporta, who you got? He's going to take Ben Cooper.
Ben Cooper is my guy in this one. I think the professionalism of announcers who bet are really the look we're going for here.
Well, it's like college game day. Everybody makes a pick.
Everybody makes a pick, and the pick I make for all of you back home watching is you're going to have a great day because we are racing here at the Rio. Ben Cooper leads this Orsalon Racing VLR Masters category through turns 1 and 2.
Unfortunate contact there in turn number 1. You saw a driver about 3/4 of the way back. There it is. Is that the
7-11 of Andre Isaac?
Yeah, we're into turn number 1. Caught the Tech Pro barrier. We talked about the barriers being moved a bit. Track reset.
It's already started.
Got pulled right in on the right front. Damage to that race car. He's done.
Ben Cooper in the 731 started out front. That's where he runs as we come around to head for the back straightaway to complete.
Oh, boy.
Oh, big stack up.
Falcone, that's a 717 also.
Elefante's in that.
Which is Ostagai.
Wow, these were some of the top 5 starters getting caught up. Well, Ostagai was just outside the top 5 in the 6th position. Attrition.
It looked like they just all went into, what was that, turn number 8? Oh, that's a piece of a back bumper, maybe.
Coming off the carts as they come through the final set of corners. And Chris, 2 different incidences on the opening lap. Could you have correctly predicted the future and called out the fact that tire temps were going to be a struggle to get here in the early
tire
parts?
Tire temp. Everybody getting a little argy-bargy early. It's a long race, Tony.
Yeah, 13 minutes plus 2 laps for our VLR Masters drivers. And we got live timing and scoring up on the screen there for you. How about it? Live coverage, free coverage here for ROK Vegas.
Yep, everybody settling in here through turn number 10. This is crazy. We're working lap number 2. 8 minutes, 47 seconds, 45 seconds still here. Long way to go in this ROK VLR Masters class.
Yeah, so we're going to get timing and scoring pulled up here in the booth so we can let all of you at home know exactly, and those of you here at the track know what is going on. Good shot there of race leader Ben Cooper. Renato David was able to split the difference and get in between the Cosmic Kart drivers. So that's Martin Stone, your second place starter, running, let's call that about 2 kart lengths back from David in the Orsalon Racing Tony Kart. And then look at that, quite a margin. Back to the 714 of Dan Jones and Kyle Hayner, your top 5. Sean Owens going backwards off the start. He slips back to the 7th position after taking lights out in P4 in this one.
Yeah, top 3, they've kind of shown it all week long. They've got the pace. Renato David going to let Martin Stone by there. He actually pointed to the bottom.
Don't you love that? A little bit of teamwork.
Yeah, maybe they're doing everything they can just to try and go run Ben Cooper. And I'm just going to say it, just because you have two drivers running the same go-kart, same class, out of the same tent, doesn't always mean teammates.
No.
Right? They're both driving a Rawlson Performance Group Cosmic. That's great.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they're. It's not like we're an IndyCar race, Formula One race, something.
No team orders.
It's
no
nothing
team
like
orders.
that. So, they've got probably very equivalent stuff here, and obviously they've shown they've both got great speed all week.
So it was Martin Stone getting kind of pointed by Renato David.
Yep.
Well, Martin Stone, the last 2 laps has been purple. Quickest car on the track, 47.067. We'll see if he can go and get race leader Ben Cooper.
Yeah. As we look here, now our clock is reset. There's 9.5 minutes to go here. It just took a second to kind of get caught up.
Yeah, when you called out that 8.5 minutes to go, I thought, man, the first 4 minutes of this race have absolutely streaked by. Now we will see what Martin Stone can do. Folks, if you're flying out of Vegas in the morning, don't forget to check in for your flights.
Yeah.
Chris, that's always important to do.
It is.
That must mean that you and I are on the same flight.
It does.
Yeah, we're going back to Indianapolis with Jason Ewers.
We are.
Yeah, how about that? It's going to be a fun 7 a.m. Shuttle limo ride to the airport. I can't wait to see you then. Look at this. Martin Stone has put 3 purple laps together. A 46.984 allows the lead to shrink to 0.2 of a second. And Chris, there's no way that he could have known this, but David, pointing Stone by, has worked out miraculously, because very quickly here, Stone, and by way of Stone having the opportunity, David will have the opportunity to race Ben Cooper here.
Yeah, and you kind of wondered, did David, he's got a lot of experience. Did he feel the pressure? Was he feeling the pushes? And just said, hey, you're quicker, man. I'd rather chase here.
I hate feeling the pressure, and I hate feeling the pushes.
Yeah, well, that's why you don't go in the mosh pit anymore.
It's never a good time. It's never a good time. Martin Stone, can he go 4 laps in a row, posting purple times at the stripe? No, 47.181. But the lead does shrink again to 0.1 of a second from Ben Cooper back to Martin Stone. Stone's there.
This one's going to be a game of who. I love playing the game, wondering who set pressures where.
Right.
And you got to kind of wonder who set them the lowest. But can't take away from Ben Cooper here with all his experience. He can run really good lap times on really low tire pressures.
Well, and the point is, when you say who set their pressure the lowest, meaning who's going to struggle for grip earliest in the race and for the longest, and then have optimal tire pressure, optimal tire heat at the end of it late in the race.
Yep.
Because it's not where you start, it's where you finish. Martin Stone says, I started in second. I want to lead this race. Down to the inside at the end of the front straightaway, Martin Stone goes purple and takes over the race lead. Ben Cooper will smell exhaust for the first time today. Yeah,
Cooper going to settle in here. That's going to allow Renato David to get closed up real tight here. Martin Stone did go purple last lap again, Tony. That's 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that's an incredible amount of pace that Stone has, but that begs the question. What do they do with pressures? How early have those tires come in, and how long can he maintain? Now we're inside of 7 minutes. This is back to a normal heat race pace that we saw for these VLR Masters yesterday and the day before. They ran 8-minute plus 2-lap heat races. Now coming in to see just about 6.5 minutes to go at the line. Martin Stone leads his first lap of the race. Ben Cooper drops back to second. The gap less than 0.1 of a second, but David has done a very good job staying with these top 2 and is going to be eligible to battle for the race win as long as he can stay there.
Yeah, I really think that, Cooper and Stone are going to do everything they can to shake the 725 of Renato David. David has not shown the pace all week long to just get out and lead this group, but he sat there with him consistently, and in the closing corners every time, he's right there making the move.
Well, and I think we've seen that through a bunch of different categories here with ROK Cup USA is based on how competitive karting is. As long as you can essentially hang and keep up with the drivers you're fighting with, just wait, because you never know what can happen and what may just, for lack of a better term, fall in to your lap. Ben Cooper and David each post their quickest laps of the race to this point so far. It's a pair of 47 flats for the driver in second and third. David was actually the quickest of the 3 leaders that last time by. David, the driver third in line, goes 47.037. Cooper, the Brit, now residing in Canada, posted a 47.081. And Martin Stone, the race leader, slowest that last lap out of the 3, going a 47.096.
Yeah, he's out there pushing. These other guys are just being able to tuck in the air and sit there with him. This race, it'll be just over 5 minutes to go when we cross the stripe here. I don't think we're going to start seeing anything heat up until about a minute and a half to go on the clock.
No, we've seen a lot of patience out of all of our Masters drivers, whether in VLR, Shifter Master. So I think you hit the nail on the head. These are the guys that understand race strategy the best. They're the guys who have watched more racing. They're the guys who have probably competed in more racing. Maybe it's tight with some of the senior drivers we have here this weekend, but they definitely understand and think, I think, through a race a little bit more effectively. But again, I don't want to come off like we're harping, oh, it's easy, just sit, just ride. No, it's competitive, right? You're out here to race, you're out here to battle. That's why you sign up and put your name on the entry list and your money on the table. When you got a guy less than a tenth of a second out in front of you, you're going to want to pass him every opportunity, yet it's the patience.
It's the discipline.
It's the discipline that wins these races.
And you watch here, Kyle Hayner and Sean Jones in 4th and 6th respectively last time by, their fastest laps of the race. They're starting to kind of roll now. David just ran his fastest lap of the race to 47.008. And I'm starting to see here, Sean Owens runs his fastest again. He's faster. He's just as fast as the top 4 now. Owens ripped to 47.1. That's 0.6 of a second faster than Dan Jones running 5th.
Yeah, you're right. That's a really good lap right there for the 720.
Yeah,
Sean
so Owens really starting to put the pressure here on Dan Jones. Close that gap up, but he's going to still, if he can get by him, he's going to have a big gap out the front to Kyle Hayner.
It's very subtle differences, but you can already tell the top 2 have been able to gap just slightly. It was something like 0.3 of a second from second back to third. That's grown by a full tenth to 0.4 of a second, probably due to the fact that Ben Cooper went purple that time by 46.913. That is one of the major reasons you see the 2 Cosmic Kart drivers beginning to very, very slowly put distance between themselves and third-place driver Renato David.
Yeah, the battle for 5th really heating up now. Owens all over the back of Dan Jones. He closed up over a second of a margin, or a second of a gap there in 2.5 laps. Man, look how far out in front these top 3 are, though, from the rest of our field. From first, second, and third, it is now 4.5 seconds. You got to squint your eyes to find Kyle Hayner. Here he comes into turn number 10, and then it's going to be Dan Jones with Sean Owens, Miguel Meyer, Evan Kozak, Joshua Daly, and Dal Bond, the top 10. Proof, though, in the pudding, Chris, that if you work together, don't race each other every lap, aren't fighting for position, this is the kind of gap a small group of karts can establish over the rest of the field. Yeah, it's all about just being patient.
So this race flying by already. See, 13 minutes isn't that hard.
It's not.
It's flying by when you've got really close competitive racing like this. Renato David continues to lose touch with the top 2 of Cooper and Stone. Now over a half of a second. We'll see what the deficit is this time by. And Martin Stone took the race lead away from Ben Cooper. Let's call it, I think, maybe 4 or 5 laps ago now. And you know that Ben Cooper is thinking, studying, watching Martin Stone and trying to figure out, all right, when it's time, where do I make my move?
Yeah, I think Cooper's going to keep waiting. And, David, surely he's lost time, right? He's losing a little bit every lap. It's about,
now nearly 0.6. Yeah.
But now you just saw Ben Cooper start hopping the back for the first time that lap through turn 3. Is he starting to maybe get a little tight? Is he trying to find some alternate lines? Is that going to allow David back in? There's all these things you have to run through your head here. Now you see your leader starting to get a little tight on the front now, and so these tires have had a lot of abuse put through them here so far in this race. A minute and a half to go. Tony, I have to think to myself that David's still in an okay spot, because as soon as they go from the racing line to the white line, which is the defensive line, he'll be able to pull right back up. Now David making a carburetor adjustment there down the front straightaway. 1 minute to go.
Wow, the gap from second now to third explodes to nearly a full second. 0.849 is the difference between Ben Cooper's rear bumper and Renato David's front bumper. Inside of a minute left in this one. Cooper last time by a 47 flat, but Stone picking up the pace in front of Ben Cooper, a 46.9. He's the only driver we've seen dip down into the 46-second bracket. Martin Stone starting to get on his horse and ride here.
Yeah, Owens did get around Dan Jones for fifth, but he's got a lot of hay to make up here to try and run down Kyle Henner. Almost 5 seconds.
So the clock will not expire before drivers get to the start-finish line, so we're effectively working lap number 3 here, 0.8 of a second from second to third. Might just shrink because David goes purple, and it does shrink to 0.6 of a second, 46.902 for the Orsilon Racing driver. Could he have been holding back on us?
Now it's time to see what's going to happen. This is where we start playing the games, and David, in a matter of corners, all over the back now of Ben Cooper.
Chris, you were just singing, you gotta know when to hold 'em.
When to hold 'em.
When to fold 'em.
I know, buddy.
And maybe that's what Renato David has done. He might have been holding them, and by them, we mean lots of speed. We'll see what he can do here as they'll come around to see the sticks. 2 laps to go. Hope we don't get dinged with copyright infringement for that performance I just gave.
Not my problem. I'm a contractor.
Aren't we all in this day and age?
2 laps to go here. Top 3 covered with a blanket through turn number 1.
David's gap to second place shrinks again, 0.4 of a second. Here goes Cooper down to the inside in turn number 3. Move pole sitter Ben Cooper back to the front with 2 to go.
It's been fun to watch here, even though they're these are older drivers in the Masters division. Tons of experience.
More experienced drivers.
Tons of experience. Every lap down the front straightaway, you can slightly see the head turn up to the mechanic stand.
Take a look.
What are they telling me?
Right.
And then back focus forward.
They're not older. They're just more experienced.
Yeah.
Now, with Ben Cooper making that aggressive move on Martin Stone, that has absolutely allowed Renato David to claw his way back into this race. White flag will wave, and this is the end of Orsilon Racing VLR Masters. Cooper gets defensive on the entry down into turn number 1. What does Martin Stone, what does Renato David do here into 3?
David looking for the outside in here. Big setup. Here comes a Sido by Sido now into the left-hander at 4. 3 wide on entry. But they're doing a great job covering off Renato David as he keeps trying to get the momentum, but there's no way to get by this RPG curtain.
Now here we go. This is going to be a big corner right here, turn number 9. Cooper's able to defend, but he gets very tight on entry. What's that going to do to his exit speed?
David with the momentum here.
David with a ton of momentum. Can they be 3 wide onto corner entry? Yes, they can.
David with a huge crossover.
Into 10. Through 11, out of 12, can Ben Cooper cover him? It's going to be a drag race to line. Orsilon Racing VLR Masters goes to the 731 of Cooper. He wins in Vegas. I think that's 1 for me, Chris.
1 for you, Tony. What a show here.
And look at that, fist bumps without wadding up the carts.
What a show.
That was fun. Hey, why don't we go talk to our winner in the scale line?
Head for it.
You don't want to take it?
No.
You're the personality hire.
No.
All right, Chris Wheeler's going to tell you a little bit more about the finishing order, and we're going to go catch up with Ben Cooper.
Ben Cooper, your winner. Martin Stone second. Renato David third. Kyle Henner fourth. Sean Owens, the DKC machine, going to round out your top 5. He had a really fast cart there at the end. That'll be Dan Jones 6th. Miguel Myers 7th. Evan Kozak in the 8th spot. Joshua Daly 9th. And Adamar Calagro in the rounding out your top 10. So that's your top 10 here in ROK VLR Masters. The first final of the day is done. Tony Laporta headed to the scale line to try and find your winner, Ben Cooper. See great shots here in the scale line. As Cooper takes off the helmet. Renato David, Martin Stone, everybody here. Tony Laporta, why don't you catch up with all the action here at the scales?
Ben Cooper, let's make sure we can hear him. Ben Cooper, check 1, check 2. All right, Ben Cooper, how much fun was that?
Yeah, it was good. I think that's how racing should be. There's a lot of talk around the world right now in go-kart racing about the driving standards and how people defend from lap 1 and stuff. And I guess we're older guys, obviously, and we've been around a long time. And for me, that's how racing should be. There's no point in us fighting for 25 laps or however long it was, 30 minutes. The last couple of laps is the way to go. And I tried to push me and Stone away. He made a small mistake about 3 laps towards the end, and that brought David back in. So then, yeah, my plan was always go to the front with 2 laps to go, and then try and defend, and use my years of experience.
Years of experience, you talk about driving standards and that being how karting should be. I agree with you. That's absolutely how it should be. But I just got to know, how hard is it to sit in a pack that tight, knowing the race lead's right there in front of you, knowing guys are right behind you when you're leading, but to be patient and not get overly aggressive? How hard is that?
I think the hardest thing is not to overthink it. Like, the plan is to sit there and wait, and your mind can play tricks on you. You can go, oh, I need to go now because, third place is coming or whatever. So the hardest bit is up here. It's not the driving part. A lot of us have been doing it, like I said, for many years. The driving part is natural. It's the stopping your mind playing tricks on you is the hardest thing.
His mind didn't play any tricks on him. He played some tricks on the field. That is your Orslon Racing VLR Masters final winner here at Rock Vegas. Ben Cooper gets it done for RPG aboard the Cosmic Chassis. Chris Wheeler, back up to you in the booth.
Thank you, Tony Laporta. It's great having you down there on pit lane, catching those interviews. Tony will be down there all day long. For those of you here on property at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino, and of course all of you back at home watching here on the Rock Cup USA YouTube channel. VLR Masters done, dusted. Now they're headed to Tech. It's a live shot now of the grid where we will have ROK Micro coming your way here. ROK Micro final next up. It'll be a 10-minute plus 2-lap race. So grab your popcorn, grab another diet water, strap into the couch, because this one is 100% going to be a barn burner.
Heck of a way to start off the race day here for finals at Rock Vegas 2024. Orslon Racing VLR Masters sees Ben Cooper, Martin Stone, and Renato David. Cooper said David. Have we been saying it wrong this whole time, you think?
I don't know.
I don't either. I don't either.
Until Fabio Orslon wants to come over here and tell me different, that's what I'm doing.
I'll tell you this. I wouldn't get Fabio Orslon mad if I were you, Chris.
No, I just want to see him. I just like the guy a lot.
I do, too. I love Fabio Orslon. He's one of the happiest people I've ever met, and it's saying something when you can be happy and he's talking to me. So, love Fabio, and loved that race. That was a good time. Ben Cooper gets it done in Orslon Racing VLR Masters, and great to be able to go down there and talk to those guys. A little winded. Had to climb back up 20 flights.
You did a good job, though.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, that's...
You didn't mind Haler?
No, not yet, but maybe after another donut I will.
Okay.
So how about this? ROK Micro is getting ready for their final, and Chris, good news. This final is 10 minutes plus 2 laps.
Yeah.
This is going to go by like a flash.
So quick.
Okay, here we go. Let's talk about the front row in this one. It's going to be Win Godschalk and Iker Alvarez. Boy, we've talked about those two a lot this weekend. George Ho showed really good speed in that last heat race yesterday. That's why he starts up in the 3rd position. Zev Godschalk starts in the 4th spot. Aiden Go rounds out your top 5 with Santiago Orioli in the 6th position. Row 4 sees Zane Burgess in the 55 roll from 7th. Nico Salazar will go lights out in 8th. Alvaro Maderos and Mauro Nario round out the top 10. The 33 of Dutch Westbrook. I put $5 on 33 last night because, the Indy 500.
How'd that work out?
Lost it all.
So you're going to take 33 here?
You know what? Let's get through the rest of the lineup. Dutch Westbrook in the 33 starts 11th. The 12th place starter will be Liam Francisco. Ko Saito and Luca Beckrell are in row number 7. Lawrence Perriman will start 15th with Ethan Torres in 16th. Brody Stoffel and Mason Brody. I love that. Yesterday was Mason Brody lining up in front of Brody Stoffel. Today it's Brody Stoffel just in front of Mason Brody. I love it when a plan comes together like that. Samuel Chiveri and Jack Katowski ran out the top 20. The rest of the field sees Ix Garduno, Tristan Francisco, Leandro Ramirez, Brody Brown, Kylie Johnson, and Mick Huang complete the field. That's just a fun name to say.
26 carts here, Tony.
26 carts. Win Gottschalk and Iker Alvarez were your low point earners, and that's how these final grids were set in all categories with the exception of VLR Senior and Junior. Those races had a pre-final to determine who would line up where for this last race of the weekend, the one that pays the big bucks. And everybody else, it was a point tally from 4 rounds of heat races. That is what determined who started where. So Win Gottschalk earned the lowest amount of points with 10. Iker Alvarez had 24 to start second, so on and so forth. So, Chris, this is a category of our youngest drivers, and we've had a lot of fun this weekend watching them learn the track, learn racing around each other, get faster, and now they're on the grid, ready to go, making sure we stay on schedule and give everybody ample time to stay prepared. And you got a little bit of F1 up in front of you. So how's that going?
Yeah, just something to, pass the time.
Yeah. Baseball's over.
Yeah, I mean,
sadly.
Baseball's over and IndyCar's over, so now I just kind of.
What am I going to watch for 4 months?
Karting, ROK is done today, so until January. So I'm just kind of hanging out now.
The good news is you can watch all of the ROK Cup racing on the ROK Cup USA YouTube page for free. And those are replays from the Florida Winter Tour, everything from here in Las Vegas. If you're watching live, hit us up in the chat. But Chris Wheeler has a request. Only hit us up in the chat if you're going to be overwhelmingly positive, right?
Yeah. If you're going to be a Debbie Downer in the chat today, just don't.
Just don't.
Or I'll block you.
He'll block you. And Chris doesn't even run the ROK Cup USA YouTube. He'll block you personally.
I got people.
He'll block you personally on the Chris Wheeler on social media.
Admin will handle it.
Harvey's Hooligans says, howdy from Bullhead RC. ROK Cup USA wants you to know we love you, Chris. They just don't know you that well.
That's true.
That's the problem.
That is.
Getting ready to go here. Hey, that's a banner over there on the side of the grid, and we're going to tell you a little bit about them. Not sure if we can push in on that banner on the right side of your screen.
You know what's cool about that banner?
What is it?
It has 2 logos on it.
Yes?
You know what the logo on the right says? Omologato. Omologato watches.
Hey, that sounds fancy.
You want to know a little fun fact about Omologato watches?
Tell me.
I wear them.
Is that what's on your wrist right now?
Not wearing anything today. But normally I wear it because they're a proud partner at not just ROK Cup Vegas, Chip Ganassi Racing.
ROK Cup USA announced an exciting new partnership with Formula 4 United States Championship and the Radford Racing School. The multifaceted partnership not only provides various brand exposure opportunities, but will also provide one ROK Cup karter with a unique opportunity to advance his or her racing career. The winner will be announced this weekend. School is scheduled for December 5th and 6th in Chandler, Arizona. This is a cool quote from Scott Goodyear. You know Scott, Chris.
I do.
Scott Goodyear wanted people to know that we are thrilled to establish a partnership with ROK Cup USA. He's the race director for F4 US. Scott went on to say, every year approximately 75% of our field in F4 US and the Ligier JS F4 series are drivers straight out of karting, many of them from ROK Cup. The depth of talent within these karting fields is second to none. We're excited to see one of their best and brightest join us on track at the Radford Racing School F4 US Karts to Cars Scholarship School this December. Are you surprised, Chris? That's the end of the quote from Scott Goodyear. Now, are you surprised that I knew how to say Ligier so well?
No. You spend a little time in the sports car world where they're most known.
It's spelled Ligier.
Yeah.
It's not Ligier.
No, you learned that lesson, though.
It's Ligier. And pretty cool opportunity popping up with F4 Radford and ROK Cup USA. So if you're here at the track, heck, you might be able to scan that QR code from the camera shot we got right here on the screen. Let me try it. It's trying. It's thinking about it. But you can learn a lot more by looking up the Radford Racing School, and that's a great partnership. That's what karting's always been about, right? When we were involved with it back in the Max Speed days, there was the opportunity to go to the Road to Indy program.
Yep.
And Renus VK was one of the drivers that made that jump I'd say it worked out pretty well for old
exactly.
VK.
No, it's really exciting stuff here. F4, Radford, Omologato, all of them coming on board together here as one big group. Bunch of great people.
DJ Ortiz wants to say sup, Chris and Tony.
Sup, DJ?
DJ Ortiz watching live. We haven't mentioned it yet, and I can't believe I haven't, because it's always cool to name drop as we are showing the 1 minute on the grid to ROK Micro. But Chris Wheeler here in the booth with us high above the main straightaway knows a lot about the opportunity for drivers to move up the ladder into professional motorsports. Chris comes to us on a, 3-day vacation from your job at Chip Ganassi Racing as Director of Driver Development. So, Chris, if I were a driver you were developing, what would you tell me to work on? And don't say diet. Don't you dare say diet. If you tell me to watch what I eat,
this is too easy, Tony. We'd start off with the mental approach.
yeah,
Probably with a sports mental doctor.
Okay.
Sports psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Probably definitely something that you're going to need. We'd follow it up then by a sports optometrist.
what's that mean?
A lot of high-level training going on there.
Okay.
And then we'd probably put you in the gym.
The
Gym is not spelled B-A-R.
I
either.
don't know anybody named Jim.
Yeah. Yeah, we know.
Well, either way, it's great to have you.
Unfortunately, I'm not looking for stock car drivers. Otherwise, you'd be my guy.
Not
Maybe
about-
dirt late models.
What about demolition derby drivers?
Not in the budget this year.
One driver getting pulled out of line on the grid, so somebody's not going to get out into their original starting position, and they have to be in their starting spot by the delineation line. So one more time, Win Gottschalk and Iker Alvarez, your front row. George Ho and Zev Gottschalk make up row number 2. Aiden Go rounds out the top 5 with Orioli in 6. Zane Burgess, Nico Salazar, Alvaro Medeiros, and Moro Nario round out the top 10. Dutch Westbrook rolls 11th. Liam Francisco 12th. Kyle Saito 13th. Luca Beckrell 14th. And Lawrence Perriman, your top 15.
Who's your pick?
Ethan Torres starts 16th. Brody Stoffel, he's not my pick. He starts 16th, though. Brody Stoffel starts 17th. Mason Brody 18th. Chaveri, Katowski, Garduno, Francisco, Ramirez, Brown, Johnson, and Kwong. The rest of the field.
Who you got?
Where is Zane Burgess starting? 7th. I'll go with Zane Burgess.
All right. Well, my pick is in as well.
I don't feel good about placing these public bets.
It's not a bet. We're just making picks here.
Santiago Orioli is a great pick.
taking
as well.
Orioli here.
Here's the deal. You know who I know is going to win this race? I'm 100% certain is going to win? The fans.
The fans.
Because this is going to be a lot of fun.
Driver trying to get back to their grid spot way too late.
Oh, that's Zane Burgess. That's my pick. Zane Burgess, I think they're going to wave this off because he was not in his correct starting position.
And that's who didn't make it off the grid.
Oh, wow.
Tony.
Can I change my bet?
No.
It's already down in permanent ink.
It is.
Oh, this is embarrassing for me.
Oh, my.
So now the question is, what does race control do? There's probably going to be discussion with the grid stewards down there, and it'll come down to by Zane Burgess, was he close to his spot at the delineation line? They wave off that 5-yard penalty for a false start, and they're going to try it again here.
Luckily they've got cameras all over the track that we're not showing you at home that race control has the ability to look at.
Yep.
And that's going to really kind of tell the tale, if you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely. Tell the tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a tall tale either. It's reality, folks.
Well, these are micro drivers. They can't be a tall tale. So I think the 55 of Burgess has been put back into his original starting position. That does look to be the case. 2, 4, 6. Yep. So Burgess will roll from the 7th position. So
far,
Nana Boo Boo.
Make sure they don't make any changes here.
My pick worked, and he's going to start from 7th.
We'll see.
ROK Micro coming to you live here. This is a 10-minute plus 2-lap race. ROK Micro, Velocity Racing, and Sodi USA, the sponsors that bring us ROK Micro. Again, thanks to Velocity Racing and Sodi USA rather, for bringing us this live action in ROK Micro here today. 10 minutes plus 2 laps. Settle in, folks. These are our youngest drivers who race with maybe the biggest hearts.
Tony, you're just so smooth with the words.
Keith Stone smooth.
You're a verbal genius.
Sometimes I tell soliloquies.
Spell that.
No. Here they come into the tram lanes. the Velocity Racing SyncID USA ROK Microfield goes lights out and racing here in Las Vegas. Drivers scatter as they enter turn number 1, and we're off and rolling into turn number 2.
You had one backwards there between 1 and 2. Everybody gets through cleanly now. 3, 4 wide into turn number 3.
Look at
a little
the
bit of
big
argy
move.
bargy there.
Look at the big move by Zane Burgess. Rolled off in 7th position up to 3rd on the initial start. But it's George Ho, the young driver in the number 5, who took the lights out in the 3rd position down there on that inside second row starting spot, able to catapult into the race lead here. They hit the dog leg as the 23 is up and out. That's Ix Garduno, the driver who started 21st out of their cart.
Pretty spread out here, Tony. Kind of shocked by that. You know, you got a challenge for the lead here, actually.
As I think that's going to be.
Win.
Is that.
Should be Win. Godshock just moved out for the lead, and now. Sorry, check that. Yeah, and I think Zane Burgess just went through to second.
Okay, I thought that might have been the 24, but it wasn't. It was the 25, and that brings Zane Burgess along with him for the ride. So Burgess continues to climb the ladder here, and George Ho slips back 2 spots as we work lap number 2. Here they come out of turn number 9 down the back straightaway. A little kink right there. Drivers adjust, get way over back to the left-hand side of the track to dive down into the right-hander, turn number 10. A little bit of a wild run through turn 10 right there. I don't know if you saw Alvaro Medeiros.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, not get a very good run on the middle to the corner exit. Medeiros is probably going to lose just a little bit of time, drops now to 0.8 of a second back behind your race leader, but it's a 3-cart train at the front. George Ho pulls out to take a look to the inside in turn number 3 on Zane Burgess. George Ho now up to the 2nd position.
Yeah, all this is going to do is let everybody come right back into it as Burgess now makes a move back to second, back-to-back corners.
But look at the gap.
Win Godshock just starting to creep away here.
Yep, because Burgess and Ho are racing with each other. It's a lot of fun, and it's easy to do in competitive and tight packs of carts like this. But look at that. Santiago Orioli, the Chris Wheeler's pick for the win here in Velocity Racing and SyncID USA, sponsored. ROK Micro is now starting to make his way up the pack. Orioli scored in the 5th position.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be about a 6-7 cart group here within just a handful of laps.
Here he goes. There's your driver, Chris, working on George Ho. He took a look, thought better of it, stays in line.
Smart racing here by the driver on board the number 16 machine. See the MPG front bumper pop out, though, on Ho here into turn number 3. Moving forward.
You could say he's making moves, not faking moves.
Hey-o. Through the left-hander now at 4, 5, headed to the right-hander at 6. Left-hander back at 7 to the braking zone at 8 now as we set up for turn number 9. Oh, so important here, Tony, as we work on this exit shot. Still just under 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this race.
Got to reconnect our timing and scoring. I guess when I stepped out, we lost our personal hotspot here. I apologize for that. We'll get you back up and going here with live timing. Yeah, it's all right.
Meanwhile, out in front, Win Godshock continues. Head down, no problems. Pulling away here. Burgess, though, and Ho both run their fastest laps of the race. So we look for the timing and scoring to update for us here. 4 laps in the books. 0.8 of a second the lead here for Win Godshock.
I'll tell you what you don't need timing and scoring for as I continue to work to get it pulled up is Santiago Orioli on the march forward. Went out on track in the 6th position. We saw him in 4th. Now he's in 3rd, right behind the 55 of Zane Burgess. Could he make a move right here in turn 9? No, not close enough yet, but he's such a young and such a small driver. You can see his head getting tossed side to side with that helmet up on top of him. And this is a long race for these kids, 10 minutes plus 2 laps.
A little bit of a move here. George Ho had a great exit shot there, tucked in Rice and tied off turn number 10, made a look on the 16 of Orioli. Nothing there. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th now. Almost joining up in one big group all the way back to Liam Francisco.
And not too far in front of Francisco is Alvaro Medeiros, one of the drivers I called out. Oh, boy, Orioli just took a look on the inside of the 55 of Burgess, and now that's going to put Orioli into the clutches of the number 5 early race leader, George Ho. And along with Ho, he's going to have challenges from Medeiros. Medeiros is your quickest car on the track after last time by 50.694 for the young driver in the 15. Zev Godshock, Iker Alvarez, Beckrell, Francisco, and Perriman are the rest of your top 10.
Bumper to bumper they run down the back straightaway through the little kink here now to turn number 10. And you can see these drivers just full send on entry, hold on exit.
You got to hold on.
Yeah.
Because you got to know when to hold them.
Oh, here we go.
You're going to hear that a few times today. Who is this right here? Could that be the 11 of Zev Godchalk taking a look on Medeiros? It was. Godchalk decides to stay in line right here. Orioli out of 2, down into 3. Orioli to the inside. He's got it. Orioli to second. Clear-ish. How about a little bit more action for third spot? That's George Ho in the number 5 saying hi-ho. Hi-ho, it's off to third we go.
3 wide contact.
And they scatter. Fourth on back. No, third on back. Check that. Second, third, fourth, and fifth all over each other. It's a cage match here in Vegas.
Yeah, this is wild racing here. Ho made some moves. They ended up going 3 wide. There was a little bit of argy-bargy contact between 6 and 7, trying to set up for turn number 8. Now we'll see the gaps as they cross the start-finish line here.
0.6 of a second was what it was from Godchalk back to Burgess. It grows somehow only by 1/10 of a second.
But it grew 1/10 of a second now to Orioli.
Right, yeah, exactly. But still, with all that side-by-side racing, you would have expected it to be bigger. Here's a good look at the fight for third position. The 55 of Zane Burgess up from 7th after leaving the grid late, and the 11 of Zev Godchalk. They sit 3rd and 4th on the track right now. Can Zev try to make something happen here on the exit of the infield through 8? It's a long left-hander. Nope, Zev does not get entry into that corner the way he needed to challenge Zane Burgess.
Yeah, all that contact last lap took a 6-kart group, 2nd through 7th, and now it's split up. Your leader all alone. 2nd place all alone. 3rd and 4th tucked up. Then it's 5th, 6th, and 7th, bumper to bumper to bumper.
So we'll see if the deficit from 1st to 2nd, Godchalk to Orioli, grows at all. It was 6/10, now it's 7/10.
That's Medeiros.
Here comes the 11 of Medeiros. No, that's the 11 of Godchalk, I think, working on Burgess. That's the fight we saw for 3rd place. Iker Alvarez picks up a spot. There's passes going on all over this racetrack.
So Godchalk just made a move on Burgess, and a little bit further back, Ho, Medeiros, and Alvarez are battling it out here for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
So we're watching a bunch of different packs try to sort themselves out right now.
So you see those first 2 karts right there that you saw, Tony, that was for 3rd and 4th.
Yep. And so this is 5th and 6th.
And 5th, 6th, and 7th is this 3-kart battle right here.
Yep, okay. So Zev Godchalk, George Ho, Medeiros, everybody just trying to crack that podium, because this is it. This is the final race of the weekend. If you're not in the top 3 when the checkers wave and you pass tech, and there's no issues in the steward's office, if you're not in the top 3 and all those things go right, you're leaving here with nothing. No trophy, no picture, no nothing.
Well, you might have picked up a picture from Cody Schindel.
You might have, and you would be wise to. Fantastic images.
He's all my dating profiles are photos that he took.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he know that?
No.
I feel like he should get a little bit of...
he gets nothing and he likes it.
Yeah, he gets nothing and he likes it.
Meanwhile, as we look up front, fastest laps, last lap turned by both 1st and 2nd. That's Godchalk and Orioli. And Orioli able to close in now 0.4 of a second. The gap out the back here for the race for 1st. Then it's Burgess and Zev Godchalk racing for 3rd. And then another gap, though. Ho, Alvarez, Medeiros. That's the tightest grouping race we have.
I think I might have incorrectly a lap or two ago called out the 11 of Alvaro Medeiros. No, Medeiros is in the 15. The 11 is the driver you're watching right now, Chase, the quickest kart on the track. Zev Godchalk goes 50.525 in the 11. That's Zev's best lap of the race. But Zane Burgess goes even quicker, although fast lap of the race honors now go all the way down to 11th. Dutch Westbrook, 50.4, quickest kart on track. Leaders are getting ready to see time expire here. Oh, here comes the 11 of Godchalk on the inside of Zane Burgess. Move Godchalk now onto the provisional podium. Burgess battles right back in 9. Burgess says no soup for you. He's back to 3rd.
Meanwhile, the race for the lead has started to heat up. Santiago Orioli has caught the back bumper of Win Godchalk. Yep. And there they are in your picture. It'll be 1v1 battle here with 52 seconds on the clock.
Oh, Orioli just went purple. 50.391 for the driver, the 16 in 2nd position. 30 seconds left on the clock here. They will come to see 2 to go at the line.
Maybe. It's got to be super close.
At 20 seconds in the infield, I think they're coming around to see the 2 to go this time by.
It was going to be what I thought was about a 1 to 2 second difference when they hit the stripe. I'm interested to see how this one plays out. Here they come off turn number 9. Plenty of time. Yeah. Hate it when you're right, Tony.
I know, but the fans love it. The fans go crazy. Wind continuing to pick up here, and the drivers not being deterred from making big moves like the one for the race lead.
Oh, too early.
Orioli pulls even down to the inside and 1. He's got it. Move Orioli to the race lead. But Chris, when you say too early, what on earth do you mean?
What I mean is now we're racing corner to corner, running the white line. Defensive moves are going to start popping up here. And Zev Gottschalk and Zane Burgess are not really that far back. It's okay. It's about 3 seconds, but that gap can close up so quickly.
It can disappear if these two battle too hard.
Yes.
It can absolutely disappear.
Both these drivers, Wynn Gottschalk, Santiago Orioli, have done such a great job of just staying in line and staying patient and breaking out on this thing. Orioli ran Gottschalk down. I just don't want to see him ruin their own fun.
What I want to know is how nervous are you as they come to the white flag that the driver you wrote your first initial down next to for picking for the win was leading coming to the white flag, but no longer. Santiago Orioli loses out to win. Gottschalk to the lead as the white flag's displayed. Turn 3 is a great passing opportunity. Gottschalk knows that. He covers on corner entry. Orioli's only got a few corners left to make something happen for the win here in Velocity Racing, and so do USA ROK Micro.
Watching the racecraft and the knowing where to put the race cart here between these young drivers is so impressive to watch.
Turn 9. It's going to be a big opportunity, Chris.
Lots of talent here. A little over-under setup by Orioli. Orioli going to try and get a tight drive off the corner. Not sure if it's going to be enough. Now is ahead to turn number 10.
Gottschalk gets way down on corner entry, takes any shot at an early pass attempt away from Santiago Orioli through 11. Out of 12, Orioli's only got one more shot to keep that thing wound up. It's going to be close at the line. Gottschalk comes down to cover, and ROK Micro by Velocity Racing and Soda USA goes to the number 25 of Wynn Gottschalk.
Alvarez was able to jump up to 4th there. That was Zane Burgess in 3rd. Alvaro Medeiros in 4th, Zev Gottschalk to 5th, Iker Alvarez in 6th, Lawrence Pierman 7th, Dutch Westbrook all the way to 8th, Luca Besseril in 9th, and Liam Francisco rounding out your top 10.
So because Orioli finished one spot higher than my bet,
I get a point.
you get a half a point.
That's a point.
You get a half point because I thought we were picking for the win.
No, we're just picking.
All right. We'll let the fans decide at home.
Oh, Tony, changing the rules on me.
See if we will be running out to do an interview or not here with our race winner. Yeah, we'll go out and see if we can talk to Wynn Gottschalk. Chris, keep the people at home entertained.
Well, I'll do what I can, Tony. Good luck on the zip line headed down there. So, remarkable race there in ROK Micro. Wynn Gottschalk, Santiago Orioli put on a show there in the closing laps. Zane Burgess, Alvaro Medeiros, Zev Gottschalk, Iker Alvarez, Lawrence Pierman, Dutch Westbrook, Luca Besseril, and Liam Francisco. That's your top 10 here. As Tony Laporta heads over to the scales, trying to get over there as we wait for a live image of the scale line here coming your way shortly. The wind continuing to pick up, the sun continuing to shine though. A brisk day here, brisk Sunday morning, the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino. As you look at the number 25, Wynn Gottschalk in the Binnick machine. Now headed to the scale, gets the first plaque. That means he's going to bay number 1 in the tech barn. Your provisional winner, Wynn Gottschalk here. Great live look. Sodi Kart Racing ROK Micro Vegas final in the books. Wynn Gottschalk waiting on the thumbs up. Now going to push the cart down. And just like that, we will head to Tony Laporta, who is live at the scale house.
Thanks a bunch, Chris. Down here with Wynn Gottschalk, your winner in ROK Micro. Wynn, watch out right behind you there. Jason on the camera. Wynn, come over here. Hey, good job. Was that fun?
Yeah, so fun.
Okay, so this track in Vegas, nobody gets a chance to see it before the week of racing. How hard is it to learn a temporary circuit like this and be as fast as you have been all weekend?
Oh, it's so hard to learn, but you'll get better every lap.
How easy is it when you start out front, you led the field to the lights out, you started in the pole position? Is it harder to have the field all behind you and worry about that pressure on the start, or does it feel good to start out front and have the benefit of leading at the green?
It's a bit harder because then you have to look back and block a lot, and you have to see if they're not going to pass you in the last lap.
Well, you drove a really good race. Anybody you want to thank for picking up the victory here in Vegas?
Yes, my mom, my dad, my coaches, my team, and my teammates.
All right, that's Win Gottschalk. How about it, buddy? Congratulations. Win Gottschalk gets the victory here in Velocity Racing, and so do USA ROK Micro. Chris, back to you.
Well, Tony, thank you for that with a great interview down there with your winner, Win Gottschalk, taking the win in Sodi Kart ROK Micro. As we look forward to what's next, well, this is the first time that we're going to go to the big clock. The 125's coming your way. It will be ROK Shifter Masters coming your way next here in just a little bit. So don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to pop away for a little station identification. But you are joining us live from the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino, final Sunday for ROK Vegas.
ROK Cup USA, featuring racing from coast to coast, fast, friendly, and fun. Come join us at ROK Atlanta, ROK Pacific, Florida Winter Tour, or ROK Vegas. ROK Cup USA, home of ROK Vegas and the original Florida Winter Tour. ROK Cup USA, serious fun. Got grip? Let her rip. Putting the rubber to the road. Levanto.
From Italy for the world. Vortex Engines. Powering ROK Cup champions worldwide.
We're back here high atop the main straightaway at the Rio. Chris, I heard you hit it once already. You beat me to at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. How about a wildly entertaining Velocity Racing Soda USA ROK Micro Final? And as always this weekend, we go from our youngest drivers
To our most experienced drivers.
after starting with some of our most experienced drivers. You saw VLR Masters by Orsalon Racing go to Ben Cooper. Velocity and Soda USA, ROK Micro just went to Win Gottschalk. And now we have ROK Shifter Masters out on track, or about to be out on track. Oh no, Cody just lost his hat. Was that his hat?
Cody Schindel either lost his fanny pack or his hat. I couldn't tell which one it was.
Neither thing you want to lose on a windy day out here in Las Vegas. I don't know if it was a hat. He's got great hair. I don't know if he rocks a hat. Let's see. Oh, I think it was his hat. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's going on backwards. He means business now. Is it on backwards? No, it's not. Nope, he's kept it on forward. Okay.
Cody, wave to the cameras. You are live.
No, it is on backwards. I was wrong.
He's ignoring us.
He's a professional. He doesn't do stuff like that. Look at that, a gorgeous shot. If you wonder where you are here at ROK Vegas, wonder no longer. You're at the Rio, and it's the All Suites Hotel and Casino. You've probably enjoyed a dinner or two up there at the Voodoo, haven't you, Chris?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back tonight.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate the invite. I'll be there with you.
Yeah.
No, that's the top of the Masquerade Tower, and that's the building we race in the shadow of. Literally, when the sun starts to set in the west here, later on in the day. That Masquerade Tower casts some serious shadows on the turn 10 hairpin. And over there to the right, the Ipanema Towers. That's where I'm staying. I'm down on the ground floor. I'm helping people hit the buttons on the elevator. So I'm making sure folks get to where they need to. And then Mike Burrell, well, he's hidden behind the palm trees in the, I don't know if presidential is even a high enough word.
Palazzo Suites.
Palazzo Suites. Chris Wheeler just free-handed the mic there on that one to work that reference in. So awesome day here in Vegas. Believe it or not, Chris, I know you were probably still wrapping up in the workout room this morning, but there were actually brief showers in the area.
Actually, I was coming back from a hike.
Oh, yeah, of course. Your hike that you did yesterday. The evenings are when you do the workout room.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were out on your hike, and the track actually got hit with super brief showers. I don't think it drizzled for more than 5 minutes, but the track did cool off quite a bit in the early morning, and that breeze coming from the west has definitely kept things a little bit calmer, or cooler, I should say. Ambient temperature nearly 60 degrees as we get ready for our third final of the morning, and I think I hear them. Nope, they have not left the grid yet. They are just warming their engines. Let's talk to you about this ROK Shifter Masters final. Jonathan Vitolo and Jordan Musser will be your front row after each scoring a pair of 14-point performances through the heat races. Vitolo on the inside, Musser on the outside. Bud Grossenbacher will share row 2 with Brian Keck. And Wheeler, you've spent a lot of time talking about Brian Keck. What have you liked about his performance here this weekend?
It's been up and down. Keck's had some bad luck. He got driven over there in one of those heat races. But, Keck just has some really good speed. And so that's why he's my pick today.
That's a good reason. So Brian Keck and Chris Wheeler are teaming up to do this one together. I don't necessarily like the idea of promoting my picks, so I'm just going to make one, but I'm not going to vocalize it. So we're here to talk about them. And I'll take your money later is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Vitolo and Musser, your front row. Grossenbacher and Keck, row 2. Ryan Yope, it rounds out your top 5. Danilo Ramallo starts at 6th with Hunter Hagenbuch and Travis Irving sharing row number 4. Brian Devert will start in the 9th position with Michael Rivera. Rounding out your top 10, Walker Lytle and Patrick O'Neill are 11th and 12th. Luis Quinones, Sergio Rodriguez, and Jose Montalto complete the 15-cart starting field here in ROK Shifter Masters, final racing of the weekend.
This one's going to be good, right? So we've seen some shakeups here. I think Vitolo's had a great week. Keck's had a fast week. And Musser has just continued to get better and better throughout the week. Irving has kind of had some bad luck as well, but he's had a lot of speed. Rivera's had speed at times. But I got to say, I don't see the one coming out of the top 3.
Well, the good news is we get to watch, wait, and find out just like everybody here at the track.
17 minutes plus 2 laps here.
We're going to get to know each other.
It's going to get snuggy. Visors down, to the lights we go.
Jonathan Vitolo on the inside, Musser on the outside. It's time to go 6-speed racing here at ROK Vegas. The ROK Shifter Master final event goes lights out, and we go racing. The off-pole starter has had so much success here so far this weekend.
Not today.
Not in the finals. Jordan Musser cannot steal the whole shot. He will follow the 534 of Vitolo out of 1 through 2 through 3, and now into turn 4.
Keck slotted into 3rd there, Grossenbacher 4th, and we're clean and green as we exit turns number 4 and 5, already in turn number 8.
The added element of this shifter kart racing as Musser comes to call quickly out of turn number 8, pulls up alongside pole sitter and whole shot winner Jonathan Vitolo. Musser now forces his hand down on the inside of turn number 10. Musser punches through. He will lead lap number 1.
Keck saw that coming and he set himself up perfectly. He came through with Musser. Now Keck to the bottom of Musser into turn number 1.
Man, that was sketchy down on corner entry. Keck had his elbows up, making sure that thing was pointed where it needed to be.
Cold tires, downshifting over the bumps was impressive.
So you talk about cold tires, the added level of difficulty here for these shifter masters is those gearboxes, those clutches need to be warm. Yeah, they're not grabbing the clutch, they're bump shifting here in the course of a lap, but still, you need to make sure that gearbox is maintained, ready to go, and able to respond when you need to grab a gear or bump one down.
Yeah, Keck had a great move 1 lap ago. Similar line this time through turn number 10. Gets in a little bit wider, keeps it super tight around the bottom edge of the barriers and a real narrow exit. But the most important part is he's exiting straight, Tony, and by getting straight earlier, he's able to apply the power and drive off the corner with a much quicker rate of speed as they head to turn 11.
Front wheels pointed straight are the fastest pair of front wheels you're ever going to have.
Yeah.
Slow steering wheel is a fast steering wheel, and there's probably a bunch of other analogies we could drop on them here. But I think we're in for an absolute heavyweight fight here between the top 2 drivers in ROK Shifter Masters, that being Jordan Musser trailing and race leader Brian Keck.
Yep. These drivers already starting to build a little bit of a gap over Vitolo. You see him now on your screen through 11 and 12. So fast, Tony.
Yeah, they absolutely rip from turn number 10 through 11 out of 12. They build a lot of speed, and right there through turns 1 and 2 before they get on the brakes, downshift a few times, and roll through the first hairpin of the lap, turn number 3. So many passes we've seen already there this weekend.
Yeah. There it is. 0.2 of a second was the margin last time by between Keck and Musser, and then another 0.7 of a second back to Vitolo. Grossenbacher, Romalo's in 5th, Irving 6th.
Let's take a look here in a moment as they work what should be lap number 3 in this race. We'll take a look at the lap times and let you know who's doing what in this one as we just finished up ROK Micro and now into ROK Shifter Masters. Last time by Keck was your quickest card on track, 42.669. Fast lap now goes to Vitolo. That's going to be a 42.508. for the driver who started on the pole position and is now back in 3rd. So Vitolo trying to claw his way back into this one. But Chris, as you pointed out, he has got plenty of time in this one with 17 minutes.
So 13:40 on the clock here. So much distance to cover. We see a driver stranded, drivers left over there. That's got to be Brian Devert in the 522, the only driver not still operating on the lead lap.
Yeah, 1 lap down shortly, going to become 2 laps down here. So Devert in the 522 went lights out for this race inside the top 10. 9th place was where Devert started this thing, and troubles striking well before halfway. That's unfortunate. You never want to see someone's race end prematurely. That is the case, though, for a few unlucky racers every single weekend. Up front, Brian Keck shows the way to Jordan Musser. We will see what Jordan Musser answers back with here. But I think Vitolo is going to throw his hat into the ring here before too very long. Vitolo started this race out in front as your pole sitter, grabbed the whole shot. Musser started the party about 10 corners in when Musser threw it down to the inside. Musser is getting closer and closer, but Vitolo again rips off a flyer, 42.420. Vitolo, now your quickest card on the track. He is trying to get up there and make it a 3-cart train for the lead.
Yeah, you got to think, Vitolo on that GFC cart is going to have something here for the second half. There's still 12 and a half, just under 12 and a half minutes to go here. Tony, these shifter carts getting upwards of 90 miles an hour around this racetrack at top speed. That's completely hauling the mail when you think about how short these straightaways actually are.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it yesterday, but it's so physical to drive one of these carts on a purpose-built, nicely smooth paved road course built for karting with runoff room and a wide racing surface. It's already physical to do it there. But now you throw these 6-speed gear bangers that are topping out at today 90 miles an hour, but have the capabilities of reaching over 100 onto a bumpy, rough, some parts uneven, crack-filled, tar in different spots, repaved in others, parking lot, and it's an absolute beating your body takes racing a shifter around a track like this.
Yeah, and a beating you're taking for going 17 minutes plus 2 laps. Look at the clock. We're still over 11 and a half minutes before we even get 2 to go. As I try and watch some of the updates here, I got to give him credit. I mean, Keck's fastest lap came on lap 7, which is 2 laps ago, 42.3. That was a 42.5. That was Musser's fastest of 42.4. 42.5 also for Vitolo. So you're not seeing a big drop-off or any drop-off really in lap time as the duration goes on.
Now here's what the YouTube chat wants to know, Chris. People are dying to know. you're a little bit closer in age to these Shifter Masters drivers. You can relate to them. You speak much more on their level when it comes to things like business and personal matters. They want to know, do you want to jump out there and talk to the eventual winner of this Shifter Masters race?
I mean, I probably will for you.
I mean, hey, listen, it's what the people are asking for.
Yeah, I'll be happy to put on my ROK Cup hat and go do an interview for you.
Hat or no hat?
Oh, the camera definitely said I need a hat.
Cameron said, I had an executive once tell me you should never be on camera again without a hat on your head.
Yeah.
But he's not an executive anymore, thankfully. Yeah. Brian Keck and Jordan Musser have separated themselves, and it's all because of Brian Keck laying down really fast laps. Vitolo, though, he's not giving up. 42.282. Vitolo's going to make a race out of this thing. The only question is, how far up the charts can he go? Will it be a battle with Musser, which he's almost ready to start? And if he can deal with Musser, what does he have for race leader? Brian Keck. Let's take a look at the lap times. 42.4 last time by for Keck. Keck stays at a 42.4. Vitolo a 42.3. Both first and second posted laps of 42.4. Vitolo quicker again with a 42.3. He is reeling them in.
And you can kind of see the separation happen on cold tires there in the first handful of laps, as we've got 9.5 minutes to go. Your top three kind of running together. Your second three kind of running together. Lap pace-wise, that second group of Grossenbacher, Romalo, and Irving not losing any more time anymore to your leaders. In fact, maybe some laps are actually closing in just a little bit, and I won't be surprised if we start getting dicey with about 5 to 6 minutes to go if this doesn't become a 6-kart race.
I'll tell you this, farther on back, that second pack could be a race we should be watching. 4th, 5th, and 6th. Bud Grossenbacher, Danilo Romalo, and Travis Irving. That's the second pack coming in to turn number 3 here. They race in 4th, 5th, and 6th position. Things are a little bit more hotly contested there, or at least they're almost as even as the front 3. Let's check in with this 3-pack, making up 4th, 5th, and 6th. Grossenbacher, Ramillo, and Irving are the 3 karts you see on your screen right now. Leaders are heading towards turn 10, 4th, 5th, and 6th, not far behind. There go the top 3. Here come 4th, 5th, and 6th behind them, and they very quickly could be a part of this as well. Chris Grossenbacher, a 42.6. He's a little bit off Brian Keck's pace, but as soon as...
Not that lap.
Ooh, Grossenbacher?
That lap, Grossenbacher quicker than the leader by about half a tenth.
Yeah, you're right, 42.6, close to the same lap time back-to-back for Grossenbacher, but Keck hits a wall and goes 42.7, and as soon as Keck, Musser, and Vitolo start to race with each other, you already know what I'm going to say. It's going to allow the drivers behind them to catch up. That's Grossenbacher, Ramillo, and Irving. Irving down to the inside in turn number 9. Move Travis Irving up a spot. Irving around Romalo to go P5.
Yeah, super important here now is we're starting to race in that second group that they don't lose connectivity and they don't break up their momentum. We talk about energy a lot. They need to keep the energy up as a group if they want to have a shot at catching these top 3.
Now Irving will have to do a little bit of work to get back up to the back bumper of the 581 of Grossenbacher. Our race leader is still Brian Keck, who holds a healthy half of a second advantage over Musser and Vitolo. We'll try to move back up there and see what those guys are up to, as just now past the halfway point, or very close to the halfway point in this 17-minute feature. 8 minutes plus 2 laps for the heats yesterday. 8 plus 8, Chris, of course, that is 16.
Still not quite a feature.
And 17 minutes are what we have for these finals, plus 2 laps on the back end. Bud Grossenbacher leads this pack you watch on your monitor right now. And there are the race leaders streaking down in front of you through turn number 4, Keck, Musser, and Vitolo. It's tricky to catch all the action on track at a ROK Cup USA event. The best way to do it, buy a ticket and come to the event yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to be here. It's been a great atmosphere all week long. On-track competition's been really good. And who doesn't love a great rock weekend?
I love it. I love to rock and roll when I'm out on the road.
Well, you do a lot of rolling.
But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. The race leaders are still up in front. Let's see what Travis Irving can do here with Bud Grossenbacher. Irving in that Team GFC kart. I saw a little bit of communication with Gary Carlton. Was that just confirming straight line speeds for these shifter karts?
Yeah, and I think it's actually GFC with Formula Works.
Okay.
You can see I was up there yesterday scouting it out.
Oh, I mean, I knew that's where you went.
Yeah.
I knew that's where you went on your
I'm
second.
out here just learning, educating myself.
I knew that's where you went on your second, fifth, and eighth gap break from the booth.
Wait, what's next? I might have another one coming here soon. Oh, yeah, maybe I do. No, I'm just messing with you, buddy. I'm not going to leave it.
I was like, are you counting when your next break is?
Yeah.
Here we go. Grossenbacher now has company in the form of the 585 of Travis Irving. Irving's been doing a good job putting in fast laps. Irving with a 42.5 to Grossenbacher's 42.6 last time by. Artie Carpenter once told me catching them's one thing, passing them is another. Soon, Travis Irving will have to do the other, and that is passing Bud Grossenbacher. I love, what is that, the old school shift suit? Is that an old?
Dude, I keep looking at it, keep thinking that.
I think it looks like an old shift suit. I'm not sure if it is. Hey, at that MX5 Cup race I got to do last weekend, I got to see Robbie Mott of Rib Tech.
Wow.
You probably had a Rib Tech yourself back in the day, didn't you?
No.
Rib Tech 6XL?
No.
No?
Nope.
All right.
Boom, here comes Irving.
Oh, gets on the brakes. And is that just an issue you think of realizing he's not going to have the time? Or, what do you think jumps up in front of?
I'm not sure. I mean, he pulled out, looked for it, and then Grossenbach said, I'm not going to lift.
Did not slow down at all on corner entry. And that forced Irving to rethink his strategy.
Meanwhile, Vitolo has lost the pace of the top two, and he's slowly slipping back into the clutches now of Bud Grossenbacher.
Which is surprising.
You can see it here on your camera. Just up in front is Vitolo. As you watch the top six on your screen all in one shot there, this is going to get good here. 4.5 minutes to go.
It is kind of surprising to see the pace affect Vitolo, or the loss of pace affect Vitolo, because he is still the owner of the fastest lap in this race, Chris, of 42.282. That was the lap Jonathan Vitolo set back on lap number 9. This is first and second. We check back in with Jordan Musser, 0.5 seconds back from Brian Keck. And, Chris, you got to be feeling good about this one, as Keck was your early race pick.
Hey, who was yours, Tony?
I told you I'm here just to talk about the racing and enjoy it with the fans. There will be no wagering taking place on the right side of this table.
Oh, Tony Laporta, you make me giggle. 3.5 minutes to go through turn number 1, and Keck has not looked back since he made a move right there into turn number 1 early on in this race.
But hey, Musser did just take a little bit of time out of Brian Keck's lead. Musser now inside of a half of a second, because Keck was a 42.5 last time by. Musser was a 42.4. There is ample time in this race for a change in position to still take place, maybe like the one right here, streaking across turn number 8. Bud Grossenbacher had Travis Irving attempt to pass about 3 laps ago down into turn number 1. That did not stick. Irving, is going to try it again here as soon as he gets back to the back bumper.
Yeah, you got to think, we're down to 2 minutes, 40 seconds. We're down around the 5 laps to go. And this one, I expect people to start heating it up. And, what's really interesting, Tony, and I got to give a lot of credit to these drivers out here. Let's start with Travis Irving. Irving's fastest lap is a 42.4. Last lap was a 42.5. These drivers are not losing steam.
No, it's very physical. We've hit on that already. It's incredibly physical to drive these shifter cars. I mean, it's physical to drive these cars, period, right? That's the thing I wish people understood.
I don't even like driving to the gas station, let alone the physicality of a go-kart.
No, and you've raced, I've raced. We don't do it anymore. We wanted to give everybody else a chance at winning. But it is physical. These are pretty intense little machines that race around this place. Man, Irving is right there on the back bumper of Grossenbacher. But I don't care if it's a shifter or a single speed. There's no suspension in a kart that's racing with ROK Cup USA. There's no power steering. There's no brake assist. There's nothing like that, as Musser is now hot on the track, or hot in the tracks of Brian Keck in the 502, coming around to see 1 minute left, but they'll still have 2 laps after the clock expires. Musser can smell blood in the water.
Musser closing up, and boom, Irving has gotten around Grossenbacher also. So can Irving now take that pass and make a run for Vitolo?
0.3 of a second was the gap. 0.2 of a second is the gap from Brian Keck back to Jordan Musser. Musser in the bright red PSL Burrell, and he's chasing the 502 of Brian Keck here. These two have been the class of the field, it felt like, a lot of the weekend. Vitolo looked very good early in the heat race running. but it's kind of whittled itself down here to Keck and Musser late in the final.
You started to wonder here, was Keck just kind of cruising? Did Musser turn on a little bit of pressure and Keck respond? Or did Musser use up any little bit of good he had left trying to get there?
That's a really great question. Yeah, did Keck hear Musser? Did Keck feel Musser and know, okay, I really have to pick it up and get going here?
So they'll get 2 to go. Next time we see him, they head off into turn number 1, and the gap back to 0.4 of a second now as Keck ran his fastest lap of the race of 42.3, 0.2 faster than Jordan Musser.
I think that answers your question. Right? It's a little bit of both. I think Musser might have burned up a little bit, but I also think Keck had some to show and had some to give, and that's why Keck's able to go blue indicating on alpha timing and scoring that driver has just posted their personal best lap of the race. If the lap time is highlighted in purple, that means it is the quickest lap of the entire session up to this point. 3, 2, and 1. The clock runs out, and the sticks will be displayed at the start-finish line for 2 laps remaining here in ROK Shifter Masters. Brian Keck has pulled out 3 more tenths of a second on Jordan Musser. The lead now over half of a second.
Yeah, Keck trying to go back to cruise control here, trying to wrap this thing up on an early Sunday afternoon.
Brother, it's still morning.
What time is it?
It's 10 a.m.
Oh my goodness.
It's in the afternoon on the East Coast.
Ambient temperature 60 degrees here. Heck, Keck will be able to make it to brunch still.
Keck might have a flight. I don't know where he lives, but Keck might have a flight home after this one. We are holding to do podiums, I believe, until the very end of the day. So morning group will complete with our next class. As the white flag flies, they'll break for lunch. The afternoon classes will run morning or afternoon warm-ups, and then they will race their finals. And it sounds like, at least according to the schedule I've got in front of me, we will hold to do all podium celebrations.
Well, yeah, because you're doing the podiums.
With you?
No.
Oh, I couldn't imagine doing it with anyone else.
No, I didn't sign up for that.
Well, you didn't sign up to you didn't sign up to walk a mile around the parking lot, but you've done that during racing too.
Yeah, fair.
Brian Keck and Jordan Musser had a good go of it, but Keck has just saved and saved and saved, and then used it all up here at the very end to put a near second between he and Jordan Musser. ROK Shifter Masters Vegas final here at the Rio goes to the 5:02. Brian Keck is your winner, and Jordan Musser ends up in second. Vitolo third, Irving fourth, and Bud Grossenbacher completes the top 5. Wow, Irving, good job there to climb from 6th to 4th. Another fist bump. He points to the cameras, and now Chris Wheeler will make his on-camera debut here for ROK Cup USA Broadcasting as he will talk to the 5:02 of Brian Keck. Folks, the broadcast is about to get a lot more attractive. Good stuff there as Keck, Musser, and Vitolo will stand on your podium provisionally here. Irving, Grossenbacher are your top 5. Ramillo, Yope, Rivera, Hagenbuch, and O'Neill, the top 10 in ROK Shifter Masters. Chris Wheeler has made his way down the fire escape to the bottom of the property where he will be waiting in the scale line to talk to Brian Keck. The YouTube viewership numbers take a huge spike here as folks are waiting eagerly to see and hear Chris Wheeler. And I think maybe we've got it set up where we're going to be able to hear Chris Wheeler on the house audio as well. So let's get ready to throw it down. I think we're ready. So, Chris, if you can hear us, take it away down there in the scale line.
Thank you, Tony Laporta. As we are down here in the scale line, Brian Keck taking his helmet off. Jordan Musser with the congratulations. Musser made a big push there, about 3 to go. But it wasn't going to be enough here today for Brian Keck. Unfortunate circumstances throughout the week, Brian. You had a lot of speed when you started. Not the best of heat races. You really kind of put it on there at the end of heat race number 4. Yesterday showed your speed. You made your move early today, then you kind of went to cruise control. How was it?
I mean, I can't thank these GFC guys enough. And we ended up toasting a chassis, and it was all hands on deck. A true team effort on this one to throw something that we hadn't driven, go out there and drive with a little bit of bad luck. These races need good luck. But we kept fighting the climb, enjoyed the journey. Glad to get this one to the top, especially for my dad.
So about 3 laps to go, Musser made a big push. He got to your bumper over in the infield. Did you feel him there? Did you feel the presence? And do you think did he burn something up getting to you, or did you just kind of step it up a notch?
Well, I think I was just leaving some in the tank there. I tried running consistent lap times. I couldn't really hear him. When I felt the push, when I missed a shift off a 3, I was like, hey, we better go down. I think I ran a couple quick laps there right at the end, popped a couple 2s, and I'd look back and I saw the gap. I'm like, oh, we're all right. So.
Brian Keck, your winner here at Rock Vegas, Master Shifter. Tony Laporta, back to you in the booth.
Thanks so much, Chris. Cool to hear. Brian Keck, even cooler to see the Chris Wheeler live on camera. If you were wondering what the voice looked like, well, now you know. Chris will make the climb back up here to the top of the skybox. And I've got bad news when Chris gets back in here, but we've only got one more final here in the morning program. And then we'll be stepping aside for both his and my favorite class of the day. Of course, that being lunch. So ROK VLR Junior is on the grid now. VLR Junior brought to you by RPG. RPG bringing you the action here in ROK VLR Junior. And the grid is down there, lined up, ready to go. Let's talk to you about what this starting lineup will look like. Isaac Malkout on the inside of the front row in the 879. And then next to him, the 843 of Eric Doan. So Malkout and Doan on the front row. Garzone and Farias share row number 2. Vanchev and Brown are row number 6. You've got Dean Peterson in 7th. Matt Cagle starts in the 8th position. Matty Ice, as some call him. Eric Thompson's might be one of them who calls him that. Matty Ice starts in the 8th position. Eric Thompson's and team excited with the progression they've seen out of the 848 throughout the weekend here in Vegas. Jose Alejandro Halfin and Drew Jensen complete the top 10. Diego Ardiles, that 893. Don't expect that driver to stay back outside the top 10 for long. Ardiles rolls 11th with Edward Kennedy in the 12th position. Luca Popsko in 13th with Nathan Dupuis in 14th. Peyton Anderson rounds out your top 15 with Salvador Della Vecchia in 16th. Xander Malatesta is 17th with Peyton Mary Jane. That is the driver for Aaron Nelliton. I'll tell you what, it has been so much fun to be back here at ROK Vegas and see so many awesome people. Karting was my full-time gig a bunch of years ago, and I've found different avenues. I've been blessed to be a part of other motorsport, but I get to come back to karting, and I mean I get to come back to karting, and the best part of getting to come back is the people. Getting to see Eric Thompson's, getting to see Aaron Nelliton, getting to see guys like Andy Seisman, getting to work for guys like Mike Burrell, to share a booth with Chris Wheeler. There are so many awesome people that populate this pit area at ROK Cup USA events, and I'm just so fortunate to see them. It was awesome to hang out and talk to a few of them last night down on the ground floor of the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino, and it's great to have them here being a part of this event. We are very close to going lights out. Not lights out. We got to get them out onto the track first. ROK VLR Junior brought to you by RPG. We left on the grid talking about Peyton Mary Jane in the 18th position. That's the driver for Aaron Nelliton. Maui Angel starts 19th with Julian Sanchez in the top 20. Camila Nito and Juan Paramo share row 11th. Naomi Garcia and David Ybarra start 23rd and 24th. Keegan Ellsworth rounds up the top 25. Johnny Stamp starts 26th. Jordan Martin 27th. Nixon Ellsworth 28th. Jackson Elefante 29th. Declan Dehonoring in 30th. Maverick McKenna and Bronson Custis will complete this 32 kart field in VLR Junior. If that sounds like a lot of go-karts, that's because it is, and I want to make sure we have more than 32. We got Gavin McCune in 33rd position. Maddie Grace in 34th. Cole Anderson in 35th. Kalani Anya in 36th. Mateus Gonzalez starts 37th. And Eric Hermanson 38th. And before you think somebody ran in here and told me, hey, you're missing a few carts. No, I knew that we had that 8-cart shootout that was originally going to be an LCQ, and we got to see a lot of those young drivers who were in the 8-cart shootout, 31st and higher in points. We got to see them put on some really good racing yesterday, and they are starting a little bit closer to the back of this field, but with this many carts on track and as tight of a circuit as we've got, anything could happen here. Wind really starting to pick up here at ROK Vegas. Our ROK Micros are done for the day. We might have lost them. The wind's blowing so hard out here. Our youngest and lightest drivers. But the good news is they are done racing, and they put on a fantastic show. Chris Wheeler out of breath, literally, as he climbs back up the side of the skybox here at ROK Vegas. But, Chris, I think the lack of oxygen was worth it for that wonderful interview you did with Brian Keck.
Tony, the wind is so bad. I was flying all over the place trying to get up here.
So that's what you're out of breath from, is fighting the forces of the wind.
Yeah, Mother Nature almost got me.
I'm glad she didn't. I'm glad you're back with us. That's Chris Wheeler, who was just talking a minute ago. Chris was down last night enjoying an ice water or two with some of the guys that are working on these karts. And, you and I are both very fortunate to have had a ton of time in karting. We don't I don't think we call the sport home like we used to anymore. Maybe we do in the sense of you can always go home, right? But there are so many cool individuals that populate the pit area and are a part of these events. For me, it's been a lot of fun to reconnect with some of the people. I imagine you've had the same opportunity yourself.
Yeah, it has been fun to catch up with people I haven't seen in a while, tell stories, check in on families, just see how everybody's doing, and it's made this week that much more special.
It's always fun to come out to Vegas to wrap things up in the karting season every single year. Just got done with the 38 kart grid here in RPG.
Good job.
VLR Junior. Did you want to go back over any of the grid, maybe let anybody know who's starting where or anything like that?
No, okay. We're gonna let it shake out here.
Isaac Malkout and Eric Doan are your front row. Sebastian Garzon and Heider Frias are row number 2. Alexander Vanchev and Turner Brown are row number 3. Dean Peterson starts 7th. Matthew Cagle 8th. Halfin and Jensen, the top 10. And this class is scheduled to go out on track at 10:30 on the dot. And we want to make sure that everybody has the chance to present to the grid after making adjustments. We've been fortunate so far to this point with clean and safe races. Haven't had a lot of track cleanup. Haven't had the need to delay and pick up, any incidences out on the track. So we're a little ahead of schedule. That's why you see the RPG VLR Juniors sitting on the grid. So, Chris, basically, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, Tony, I'm in awe right now, really, of how great the racing has been so far. But I will tell you, man, that wind has picked up substantially from when we started the broadcast. And
there's no Krispy Kremes flying around out there, are there?
No, I'm pretty sure you consumed all of those this morning.
That is not true at all. In fact, if you check my Twitter, you'll see a photo of Chris Wheeler walking into the booth with a whole box of Krispy Kreme donuts.
Funny, I had one of those donuts, Tony, and I look around, and the box is gone.
That doesn't mean I don't know if you know this, but there's a few other people working in this booth.
Oh.
We've got our vast production staff of hardworking folks. They very well may have partaken. 100% Krispy Kremes were flying in the VIP area.
I did just notice on my way back up here that the sides of the tent in the VIP area are gone. They've been taken down because the wind was so bad.
That's just a safety measure. Jason Ewers is on top of it.
He is safety.
Safety is him. He's made sure that tent doesn't go anywhere. It's not going to become a big wind sail. And people are still able to enjoy delicious and refreshing treats up in the VIP hospitality area. Just one of the cool things that ROK Cup USA does here for ROK Vegas. Oh, it looks like we got an interview we're going to check in with here, something we got to record earlier in the weekend. So let's step aside. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with live coverage here in Vegas. Hanging out in the pits just before qualifying gets going here at ROK Vegas with Parker DeLong in VLR Senior. Parker, you were out partying. The voice isn't feeling too good. No, he wasn't out really partying. fighting a little bit of a sickness? Are you feeling a little bit better before we get into qualifying?
Yeah, I'm feeling better than I was yesterday. Got some medicine, went to bed early, so.
Okay, medicine, bed early. That's what Vegas is all about, and really competitive racing. Tell me about this VLR Senior category. What do you like about racing in it?
It's a really competitive class. It's all really close.
Yeah.
All the drivers are pretty close. There's a really big field. There's always a lot of drivers in the field, so it's kind of boring when there's only like 20 carts. If there's bigger field, it's more fun. So, looking for a good weekend.
VLR Senior 100cc air-cooled category. It's just like all the single-speed categories in karting where momentum is really important. But I mean, in only 100 cc's, would you say that this is like the premier momentum-based? You've really got to be smooth with your throttle inputs. This is kind of the class that really tests you probably as a driver with your footwork. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree totally. These carts, you really have to keep your speed rolling, and with other carts, 125 cc, other stuff like that, they can make up for mistakes and sliding and stuff like that.
Yeah, you probably just a little bit more bottom end, a little bit more power to kind of come out of a corner. But again, if you're not able to bump down gears, whether it's a 125, whether it's 100, it's really driving these kind of carts. It's all about being smooth with your hands and smooth with your feet.
Very, yes.
Yeah. Let's change topics a little bit. You and I were talking yesterday. You race in another category that's also very momentum based. You do have gears there.
Yeah.
But Mazda MX-5 Cup, you've been doing that this year, right?
Yes, sir.
How's that been going?
Oh, it's amazing. I love Mazda. They give back so much, and it's a great time. And all the people there, all the workers are super nice, and the racing's very competitive. So and they give back a lot of money. So it's good for something to race for.
Yeah, it's a really, I think it's so similar to this kind of racing in go-karting. Mazda MX-5 Cup is similar in the sense that tight packs, big fields, and you have to be just on your game every corner, or you could get freight trained in an MX-5 cart just like these. Man, if you're not careful out there, you can see 10 carts go by you like that, right?
Crazy, yeah. That'd be smart.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of tell me about the track. You guys have had a few days of practice already. You're getting ready for qualifying. What do you think of the layout here in Vegas?
The track's okay. I'm not a huge fan of all the hairpins, but the rubber's laying down. It's going to be a good event.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're here with the Ruthless guys. Like I said, it was good to talk to you yesterday about the MX-5 stuff. Wish we could have seen you at that Martinsville race. That would have been really fun too. Yeah, best of luck, and just thanks for talking to us today, okay?
Thank you.
All right, folks, welcome back to live coverage.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Mayhem here on the outlap.
Yeah, this is not the green lap. This is the yellow lap. As you just watched that interview with Parker DeLong. Trouble on the formation lap.
Can we get a number here?
That looks like the 837. That's Gavin McCune, it looks like.
Lost the nose.
Gavin McCune and a couple other carts still trying to catch up and get in line here. So this is RPG ROK VLR Junior coming into the tramlines. They're going to wave them around. They're going to send them around here to get everybody back into the correct starting position.
So is that a 5-yard penalty?
You'll see false start pop up here in a second.
Yeah.
And they're going to show Ryan Egan and Chuck Yoder will hit him with the rolling of the dough, and then 5-yard penalty assessed on the kickoff.
So the clock, there it is. There's your false start.
Yep. Back it up. The defense does accept.
Tony, if you were going to be a referee or an umpire or an official for anything outside of motorsports, what sport would you pick?
I mean, I wouldn't want to be an official. I'd want to compete.
No. I'm asking you what official you'd want to be.
I mean, baseball, because I love it.
There could be a home plate ump?
No, that's pretty tough. Another look right there at the 837. You called it, Chris. Nose damage, taking the front bumper off on the 837 of Gavin McCune. Heartbreaker there. I don't know if I'd want to call balls and strikes. That's really tricky, very debatable. And I'm going to get replaced by technology in about 10 years, it looks like. Probably less than that.
You're going to get replaced by technology anyway.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Meanwhile,
they'll never have a machine eat Krispy Kremes like you and I, though.
Malcoot and Doan lead them down the trams here. Nope.
Oh, they're going to go around again.
Another false start. Automatic first down on this one.
I was going to say, is that Jake Brown way out there on the outside of turn number 1 watching? But he's already on an airplane.
Is he?
Oh, yeah, he was out, I think, at 10 o'clock this morning back to Indy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, K1 Race Gear coming out with a big presence here at ROK Vegas. And this is always what gets me nervous, when they're just swerving back and forth.
Especially when you saw on their sight lap they crashed.
Yep. But it's just when they're all tightly packed up, they're swerving back and forth. You might think that guy's going to zig when he actually zags, and then boom, you got some bent up spindles here. That's never a good time.
Yeah. So double the fun here. We've had 2 false starts in a row in VLR Junior. See these drivers through turn number 10 here. They'll try it again when they get to the front straightaway. Uh-oh.
And the yellow flag still
How about
waving.
the red flag on the front stretch?
Oh, so we've got an issue with lineups. Drivers are not where they need to be, and so they're just going to stop them here in the tram lanes.
Well, from that, we're going to see then if we might pop away for just a quick minute.
Where are you going?
A little station identification here for the broadcast.
You reading the YouTube comments?
No, actually I haven't. But they're going to go red flag. We're going to step away, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we will be finals racing for ROK VLR Junior, brought to you by the Rawlson Performance Group right here from ROK Vegas.
Making our way through the pits continues here in Las Vegas for ROK Cup USA season finale. Gary Carlton is about as decorated, not only in North American, but international karting as you can really come up with. Gary, when I was involved in the sport a little bit more heavily, you were racing, you were winning everywhere. Gary Carlton win. America knew they had a chance, it felt like. But now you've got Team GFC, and this is a great looking tent. You got a full field of drivers in here. What's it been like switching from being a driver and competing yourself to fielding a team filled with fast drivers?
I would say like it was more pinpointed pressure, and it was stress only when I was driving myself. But then here in the team, it's kind of all the time, but it's less dense, I would say. So it's just a different kind of pressure, different kind of aspect that you got to use. Probably more skills, I would say. As a driver, you just had to be a skilled driver. Or here, you have to be skilled at business. You have to be skilled at developing the karts. You have to be skilled at running a team and being a psychological coach with everybody, to being parents, mechanics, and drivers. So a little bit more spread out, but I think this is where I should be. I feel more at home doing this, and I think I'm better at this than I ever was as a driver.
So you're not competing this weekend, but through so many Super Nationals that you competed in as a driver yourself, every year you'd come out here to Vegas, you were faced with the same task these drivers are, which is learning a pretty much brand new circuit that they've never been on, nobody in this team's ever been on. So how are your drivers, how is this team approaching? We're already a few days into the event now, so I guess maybe I should say, how did you guys approach learning a new layout and trying to find speed as quickly as you could? Because you don't have a lot of time out here on track before qualifying and the racing starts.
I always say the work is always done at home.
Okay.
It's always done at home, and we prepared at home to be ready for a race like this, and doing our coaching staff along with our technical staff basically have, without giving away our secrets, determine factors that we do getting ready for this race. And we have around, out of the 22 drivers we have underneath our tent, we have actually 7 people that have never been to a barrier track.
Wow.
So being able to have them come here for the first time, do very well, shows that our program works, and our set of fundamental skills and what we teach is actually working well. So really happy to see those drivers. I mean, I think it's one thing to bring drivers that are experienced and do well, but I think it's another one to have drivers that have never been here before and actually succeed further than our expectations.
Well, and you just used a really great term that I didn't even think about bringing up, but you talked about, you had something, I think you said 7 drivers who have never been to a barrier track, and I think that's such a unique term. Basically, what I draw from that is you're dealing with some drivers, maybe some young kids, maybe some older guys, whatever the mix of ages is, who have never raced with barriers around them on both sides. And is that an acquired skill when you don't have some runoff room, when you don't have a little bit of drop off to let a wheel hang out and not wipe yourself out? Is driving a barrier track really that much different than a natural terrain road course?
Yeah, 100%. I always tell people that this is probably one of the harder things to do. You see the most experienced drivers in a situation like this always do the best. And I remember when we were doing North America, was kind of the only people doing the barrier style tracks, and then we saw the Europeans started coming over. Even though they were considered some of the best in the world, and they still are in my opinion, when you go over to their house, they're very hard to beat, I know very well.
Right.
But when they came to our house, we definitely had an advantage for the first time.
On these type of tracks.
On these type of tracks. So it's amazing actually how well they do, and they could pick it up very quickly, but even the best drivers in the world, when they come here for the first time, obviously are at quite a disadvantage, and you see it every time. And I think it's an acquired skill. You see drivers that have come maybe overseas from this first time they maybe don't do as well, then it's always a progression. You see the second year, they're always up in the front in the third year. But if you look at a professional driver that does this for a living, struggles for the first time, you can imagine someone that doesn't have a lot of experience coming here for the first time is even more so.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I think we did a really good job, our coaching staff, technical staff, getting our drivers ready, most ready they can be, but you don't really know until you're here.
Man, I think that's, like, obviously coming from a guy who's as accomplished as you, that's great insight. Man, if you get bored with what looks like 25 go-karts in here and you want to jump in the booth later to provide some driver analysts, I would love that, because you obviously know everything that's going on out there. You do a great job of breaking it down. Can't wait to see how these Team GFC karts go. I love the design on them. Was there a lot of thought into the colors?
Yeah. I'm colorblind.
I didn't know that.
Somewhat. Well, not fully, but it was kind of the thing. My dad always loved black. I always liked white. And I thought, and when we first did it, like, why don't we just make it half black and half white?
Wow, I didn't know that.
So and it's funny, we always say, like, oh, I'm colorblind, so it's better not to have colors on the car.
Hey, it's simple, but honestly, it does really look quite cool, I think.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking to us. You do such a good job kind of explaining the small nuances of the sport. And, hopefully we can come back and do this again before the weekend's over.
100%.
Yeah,
because I have you guys.
You're great at breaking it all down. So Gary Carlton, Team GFC, he's got a full 2/10 of karts. They're going to be out on track competing this weekend here at ROK Vegas. Gary, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Folks, welcome back to live coverage here at ROK Vegas 2024. So they essentially, it's an open red is what we would call it in sprint car racing. A work area has been allowed for the drivers and teams in VLR Junior, despite announcing it incorrectly during the commercial break in the interview there with Gary Carlton. All adjustments are allowed except for fueling. No fueling can take place here during this open red period. It's an open red of 5 minutes in length, and the drivers have stopped inside the tram lanes. It sounds like it was a mixture of issues of damaged carts during the formation lap and making sure everybody was back in the correct running order. So instead of drivers being penalized for something out of their control, ROK Cup USA has allowed a stoppage in the formation of the grid. They're going to reset everybody, make sure everyone who can continue is in the correct position, and any adjustments or repairs that can be made in 5 minutes or less are being permitted to take place now. Drivers are up and out of their carts. Malcute and Doan are the front row. Garzone and Farias will bring him around when we go back to racing. Cool shot there of the front straightaway as drivers are stopped inside the tram lanes. And a lot of drivers not needing repairs, a lot of drivers not needing adjustments, as only a very small amount of karts were caught up in incidences on the outlap. Everybody else just drivers seated on the barriers. There's the 837, a great opportunity provided to Gavin McCune. They did make the call. We were able to pass information over the PA of exactly what was damaged on that go-kart. Gavin McCune lost a front bumper and a steering column had been bent in the formation lap. So thanks to information passed on by race control, we were able to let the team know that over the PA, and that is how you see them out on track right now with the kart on the stand trying to make those repairs quickly. So the damage hopefully will be remedied, and you'll see McCune able to rejoin the race. Chief Steward Robbie Poupart there steps into frame with his back to the camera. We got a couple of our hardworking track workers that travel with the series. And it looks like they're wheeling the 837 back towards the barriers, and Gavin McCune has kept helmet and gloves on. So we're putting the cart back down on the racing service. I do believe they've made the necessary repairs to Gavin McCune. He's back in the cart. How about a round of applause for the mechanics, folks? McCune's going to go racing here on the final. Once they clear the grid of mechanics and track staff, drivers will be put back in their carts, and we will resume the formation lap. 3 waved off starts took place because drivers were not where they needed to be, and now drivers being instructed to climb back into their carts. Mechanics will clear the grid. Again, we need all mechanics off the front straightaway. and they're going to go to work at getting this race restarted. Well, technically, you can't restart it because it never did start. So instead, the RPG VLR Junior Final still waiting for the initial start. Gavin McCune, man, that might just be the Visa move of the race. Getting the front bumper and the steering column replaced. Look at Aaron Nelliton walking back on the front straightaway. Hands in pockets. He's a gangster. He's got the RPG blue on. The hair is looking on fleek. Nelliton's a killer. As the last couple of the tuners make their way off the track. Hey, look at Rick Folks there in the middle of the front straightaway. He is a big addition to the staff. He's helping Robbie Poupart out in the steward's office. And Rick, just like so many others on this staff, come to us with racing experience from all over the country in a variety of series and vehicles. Folks, an accomplished kart racer in himself. He and his brother Randy always seem to be a tandem to worry about in the laydown, or I guess they call them laydown carts at Daytona, the enduro carts. And Rick has worked these days in the IndyCar and the IMSA categories as a spotter up on the roof, keeping drivers safe while out on the racetrack. He is lending his knowledge and experience here as an assistant steward to Robbie Poupart in the marshal's office. So awesome to see ROK Cup USA investing so much in their program in terms of quality people. A nice big staff is out here at ROK Vegas for the season finale, working and helping put this event together safely, quickly, and funly. Is fun a word? Funly? Is that a word? We're having fun out here. It's a very funly time. Speaking of funly, Chris Wheeler said he'd be back before the lights went out, and man, you weren't kidding. You're not allergic to anything in here, are you?
No, man. I just love the fresh air.
Yeah, I know you do.
And plus, I like the workout of climbing back up here.
Yeah, that's absolutely a benefit to being up here in the booth. Malcute and Doan see the lights go out, and we are racing in RPG VLR Junior. Over 32 carts seeing the lights go out, and they funnel into turn number 3 for the first time today.
Through turn number 3, clear-ish. Oh, nope, contact.
Oh, Doan climbs up on the back bumper. We're stacking them up at the front of the field and the back of the field.
We had big contact there off of 3, more contact off of 5. How this one's going to shake up, Tony, I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. We're stacking them deep, selling them cheap here in the parking lot of the Rio Old Suites Hotel and Casino in the RPG VLR Junior category. Out of the corner of our camera's eye, we saw Eric Doan in the 843 climb the back bumper of one of the carts in front of him while running in the 3rd position. Let's let you know how they all run. Lap 1 in the books here. Garzone slips down the running order. It's Alexander Vanchev way out in front with a 1 second plus lead over Malcute and Farias. Turner Brown 4th, Halpin your top 5.
So Vanchev started that race in the 5th position, Tony, leading it after the early contact. Malcute 2nd. Farias, Brown, Halpin. Wow.
I think Farias has gotten around Malcute, so Farias now up to the 2nd spot.
Doan dropped all the way down to 17th.
Saw him climb up and get both front Levanto tires off the ground. And Chris, it's mighty hard to steer when the front wheels aren't on the ground.
Some might call it impossible, Tony, as we look to the start-finish line here. 11 and a half minutes to go as they cross the stripe. The gap 1 second, 1st to 2nd. Vanchev, Farias now up. Brown up. Malcute down to 4th.
Look at this, farther on back. The 872 of Halpin making moves on the entry to turn number 3 to get closer to the leaders here. He was already in the 5th position at the time of that pass. And the lead from Vanchev back to Farias already shrunk after 1 lap. It was 1.1 seconds. It's 1 second even after 3 laps of racing.
So the Doan tracker is now effective. He's up to 16th, 5.5 seconds behind. How far forward can potentially one of your fastest karts all week, Eric Doan. How far can he get up?
Yeah, that'll definitely be something that the Chris Wheeler keeps an eye on for us here. The Doan Tracker is in effect, not the Doan Tractor. Another lap complete here, 4 laps into this one. And Vanchev's lead continues to shrink. 1.1, 1 second flat, now 0.8 of a second. Vanchev was a 46.7. Wow, Turner Brown into second thanks to a lap of 46.4. Brown putting his head down and driving.
But Doan up to 14th, went purple, took 3.5 tenths out of that gap that we talked about, 46.407.
So from 16th to 14th in 1 lap.
Yeah, 17th to 16th to 14th, head down moving, trying to make way here early on. But the group's already starting to kind of break up here. As you can see it on your screen, your leader, Vanchev, then it'll be Brown and Malkout, and then a big gap back.
0.4 of a second, the lead shrinks to. From 0.8 to 0.4 of a second. Brown and Malkout starting to work together. Brown goes purple, 46.327. He has nearly all but reeled in his teammate at RPG on the Cosmic. Vanchev, your leader early, but I'm not sure for how much longer. Turner Brown flexing his muscle early in this one.
Sebastian Garzon started this race in the 3rd position, also dropped back with early contact, and Garzon thought last lap from 12th to 9th.
Down up to 12th, 17th, 16th, 14th, now 12th. We'll see if he's made any more ground in this field.
Meanwhile, the race for the lead, cover him with a blanket here. Vanchev, Brown, Malkout.
Boy, what can Turner Brown do here? The lead, 0.8, 0.4, now 1/10.
Bumper.
Exactly. As now it's a 3-kart train for the race lead. What about Doan? Where was he after that next lap? +1 again, 11th position.
And Garzon 9th up to 8th.
So a wild initial formation lap.
Ooh.
That saw a 5-minute red flag to let teams come out and
Don't
work on it.
forget the 2 yellow false starts.
Right, exactly.
The 10 yards and the automatic first down.
They kept waving them around, and then the lights go out and we go racing. Contact at the front and the middle to the back part of the field. Things finally settling into a normal race. Race for the lead picks up as Turner Brown gets the job done on Alexander Vanchev. Don't you love it? Right as I start talking about how things settle down, the leaders go, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
The 801 of Vanchev slips back to second now. He'll have to deal with Malkout as Turner Brown, the driver who went lights out for this race back in 6th, now shows the race lead.
Vanchev, Brown, Malkout, Farias, Cagle, Peterson. Going to be Halfin, Garzon up to 8th. Jensen Doan now your top 10 as he's cracked that one. Shout out here to the 829 of Dean Peterson. First year racing.
Really?
First year racing. Here he is in the final. Rock Vegas. Running a strong 6th right now.
Yeah, he's started this race in the 7th position. So Peterson, anytime you can move forward, I think that's a strong sign of a successful weekend in the final. You of course want to start up as close to the front as you can, but if you move forward, that's always. I mean, hey, at least you didn't move backwards. That's the big thing.
Speaking of moving forward, Doan now to 9th. When he was all the way back in 16th, the gap was 5.5 seconds to the leader. It's now 5.6 seconds to the leader. So lost a little bit of ground, but there's still so much racing to go.
Behind this top 3, it's a 2-kart battle between Farias and Cagle. Matt Cagle teaming up, I believe that's a Team GFC driver. Let's look at them as they streak through turn number 10. In fact, that is the Team GFC bodywork on Cagle. Farias, the kart out in front. That 2-pack you're watching right now are 4th and 5th on the track. Can Matty Ice make a move? He stays in line. Eric Thompson's working on that go-kart.
So Brown, Vanchev, Malkout on your screen here. 1, 2, 3. Starting to kind of play nice, maybe trying to settle in. They definitely do not want to allow Farias and Cagle into this race.
And I'll tell you this, Chris, you brought it up earlier. I agree with you. I mean, we have no way of knowing what the team principals tell these young drivers, whether there are team orders or not. It's unlikely in karting there are, right? Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, all these drivers are customers. It's very hard to tell a customer, no, you can't pass, you can't race for the lead. But these drivers are smart. They know, oh, that guy right in front of me, he's my teammate. He's wearing the same colors as me. He's been in the tent with us all weekend. We're working with each other's data. So these drivers have that added level of pressure when they're racing with a fellow team driver to be smart, to be as respectful as possible. Doan rips off a flyer and goes purple, 45.921, as he's well inside the top 10 now, up to 8th. It'll be tough, but if our camera workers can try to find the 843, he's got bright green gloves on, and he's about 8th in the pack right now. It'll be tough to find a single card, but it will be fun to see what he does as he gets closer and closer to the top 5 here.
Yeah, the Doan tracker started second, been so good all week long. Unfortunate there, contact in the first lap.
Black flag being shown right there to the 821 of Angel, I believe. Let's take a look here and see if we can find Doan. There he is.
The 843 right there at the white helmet.
Man, great pickup by the camera guys all the way around this racetrack. They do a phenomenal job at finding us the battles, the drivers we always want to see. Doan's got Garzone right behind him.
And Peterson right in front of him.
He's the quickest card on the track again. Eric Doan of 45.751. He's setting his sights on Dean Peterson, watching and waiting through turn 8. Does he dive to the bottom and the inside in turn 9? Yes, he does.
Clear.
Eric Doan picks up another spot.
So Doan now to 7th. Halfin just up the road about 7/10 of a second. How long is it going to take him to catch him?
Yeah, Halfin, the next driver, Doan will set his sights on.
And just so you know, last time by Halfin ran a 6-1 to Doan's 5-0. This lap, even with the pass, Doan 0.3 faster than Halfin. This won't take long.
No, absolutely not. How about Garzone trying to make a little bit of money right behind Doan? He's going to come along for the ride. Move Garzone in front of Dean Peterson. Garzone now from 9th to 8th in turn number 3.
Meanwhile, up front, it's Brown, Vanchev, Malkout. Nothing changing there. They've got about a second advantage still over that Farias-Cagle group. Now, that brings you to this battle right here. Halfin, the front of your screen, in the 6th spot. Doan with the bright gloves in 7.
And Halfin last time by, you just talked about it, Chris, a 46.2. Doan was a 46 flat. And if you want to catch the guy in front of you, the best way to do that, go faster than him.
And you want to talk about going faster than him, we need to check the gap here. Here's my point. Doan has taken 0.7 of a second out of the outright leader, Turner Brown, in the last 5 laps.
45.991 last time for Eric Doan to a 46.1. Now, that was Halfin's best lap of the race, a 46.1, but not as quick as Doan, a 45.9. Doan is driving out of his mind right now.
Yeah, and the gap other way to your leader, 4.9 seconds. The leaders start to race, and that can go away in no time.
This is really good stuff. This is when you wish you had 5 or 6 cameras up on the roof to follow everybody and cut back and forth between the battles on track. Turner Brown has a 1/10 of a second over Vanchev. We might start to move our way back up to the leaders here.
Yeah.
And we'll watch this fight with Doan and Halfin, because Doan still has a little bit of work to do to catch up to Halfin. Meanwhile, Turner Brown and Vanchev are continuing to set the pace here. 1/10 of a second separate your race leader to second place. Malkout in third, Farias and Cagle, the top 5 up at the front.
Yeah, Farias and Cagle trying to not lose sight of that top 3 battle, but they've not been able to really close in it all over the last couple of laps.
As we keep an eye on Doan, he heads into the Masquerade hairpin in turn number 10. The Rio asked me to call it that.
Okay.
They came into my room this morning and they said, Tony, we'd love you to call that the Masquerade hairpin. I said, okay, Mr. Rio, I will. But when you get to stay in an all-suites hotel,
everybody gets a suite.
And casino, everybody gets to win. You do what the hotel asks. So let's try to look back here for our leaders now as Turner Brown sets the pace with Alexander Vanchev getting closer and closer. The lead less than 1/10 of a second. It's down to 0.070 as this should be your leaders coming in to turn number 10.
It is.
Great pickup there. Turner Brown, Vanchev, and Malkout streak across the start-finish line once again to complete another lap. We are 16 laps into this one now, Chris.
16 laps in, 1:22 left on the clock. Doan did get around Halfin now to move to 6th. 4.5 seconds behind the lead. Still plenty of racing left here. But the leaders are going to have to start racing it out hard if Doan wants to have a shot at catching it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're on Doan watch, which so much of the country is right now, you need the leaders to start dicing it up to allow Doan to get closer and closer because his next target is Matt Cagle in the 8:48. We already have seen him get around Jose Alejandro Halfin. But they come here to race for the win, and that's the battle we're watching on track right now. Brown, Vanchev, and Malcute will come around to not see any signals from the flagman. 40 seconds left, so now they'll see 2 to go when they come back around. This is 3 laps left.
3 to go here. Are they going to stay single file, or is it time to start getting wild here? On the lot behind the beautiful Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino.
Malcute just has been so patient. He knows that he could break things up if he gets into the middle of Vanchev and Brown, but really, who does that hurt? Malcute and Vanchev. It's who that's going to hurt. If he waits late as he can, maybe he's expecting Vanchev to force the issue. That slows Vanchev and Brown down, and boom, Malcute's got the battle right in front of him. Maybe right next to him. Who knows? Maybe right behind him.
Yeah, Farias and Cagle doing everything they can to try and stay in touch with the leaders for when that happens. 2 to go here with the sticks being shown.
Great shot right there of the front 3, and then not far behind them, Farias and Cagle. Doan is on an island all by himself in the 6th position.
He's still the fastest go-kart on the track, and he's carved it down to 4.2 seconds. So we thought we were going to see a challenger for the lead, and it just didn't pan out.
Vanchev took a look to the inside down in turn number 4 for the race lead, thought better of it, got back in line. You did see 2 drivers up and out of their carts over in turn number 3, so contact late in this one is going to remove 2 drivers from the running, but Vanchev is beginning to show his nose. Malcute steps into the middle of it. Malcute breaks up the RPG Cosmic 1-2 as they come to the white flag.
And here comes Farias and Cagle now. They're going to stay outside the standard line. Vanchev going to pop out there too. Malcute glued to the bumper of Turner Brown.
Turn 3 is a great passing opportunity, and Turner Brown knows it. He gets way down on the inside to defend. That could really hurt his entry into turn number 4. Now the 3-cart race for the lead turns into a 5-cart battle for the win. Brown brings him into the infield.
Half a lap to go as they work to turn number 8. Turner Brown on the bottom. Malcute going to try a crossover. Vanchev just trying to hold off Farias. Cagle holding on to try and take advantage of somebody's mistake.
Turn number 10's the last really, really good opportunity you have. Turner Brown gets way down low. He runs wide. Malcute to the inside. Malcute to the front. Through 11. Out of 12. Isaac Malcute needs 79's going to win Rock Vegas in VLR Junior.
Malcute gets it. Vanchev to second. Farias all the way to third. Turner Brown all the way back to fourth. Then it'll be Cagle followed by Doan, Halfin, Garzone, Peterson, and Drew Jensen.
Are you not entertained?
Oh my goodness, Tony Laporta. What an impressive race that was. Tony Laporta fast out of his seat, quickly down the fire chute. He heads down to the grid. What an awesome effort there. Oh man. So recap there. Isaac Malcute over Alexander Vanchev and Heitor Farias on the final lap. Gets to P number 3. Turner Brown, Matthew Cagle, Eric Doan, Jose Alejandro Halfin, Sebastian Garzon, Dean Peterson, and Drew Jensen. That is your top 10 here in ROK VLR Junior. As Tony Laporta makes his way over to the scale house. That feed will be brought to you here momentarily. What an exciting finish here. And a tip of the cap to driver the 879 Isaac Malcute, who put it together in the final corners when he needed it to pull off that victory. So now we head down to the voice of ROK. Tony Laporta is live from the scales. Tony, take it away.
Thanks very much, Chris. We have got the VLR Junior drivers here in the scale line waiting to talk to them. We're gonna let the top 2 make their way across the scales before we hold anything up and slow down the process here. Isaac Malcute doing a fantastic job. He's right there, second driver in line, but the first across at the checkers, and we're gonna let him get across the scales before we bug him here. I don't want to hold up the scale process, but Isaac driving a really, really patient race there for so long. We saw him sit in third Well, maybe we can have him come over here as they're waiting to start the scale process. There we go. Coming out over the house audio, a little hot. And we're going to turn it down. Isaac, come over here and talk to us while we wait for the scales to open up. Fantastic driving, wildly patient there, running in third for so long. I talked to Ben Cooper about this already, but how hard is it to tell yourself, wait, don't go, and wait till the very end? Is that difficult to train yourself to do?
Yeah, it is very difficult. You just have to be smart, stay calm, and just let those guys somewhat fight. And then once my tire pressures just came in, I knew it was time to fight, so 2 laps to go, I was like, I just got to put my head down, let's go to the front, we can win this thing.
Well, that's the right attitude to have. We can win this thing, and you did. How tough is the competition at a street race like this where nobody really has an upper leg until the weekend starts? You all have to learn the track at the same pace. How tough is it, the field of competition you're racing in right now?
It's very difficult. You have to drive perfect to be up front. You can't make any mistakes. You have to be perfect.
Isaac, fantastic job out there. Who would you like to thank for getting the victory here today in Rock Vegas?
My dad, PSL Karting, Zanella Engines, all my sponsors, everybody underneath the PSL tent for helping me. Yeah, that's it.
All right, now help me out here because I've probably been saying it wrong all weekend. How do you say your last name?
Malquet.
Malquet. Okay, well, I've been saying Malcoot. Thanks so much. Isaac Malquet getting the job done here today in the 879 RPG ROK VLR Junior. Our last main event of the morning. A great one to end on. We'll step away for lunch. Chris Wheeler, back up to you in the skybox.
Thank you, Tony Laporta. It's been a beautiful morning here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino. Finals day for Rock Vegas. That's going to wrap up our morning sessions. We're going to step away for some lunch, some podiums, and we'll be back just a little while right here, live from the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino for finals of Rock Vegas.
ROK Cup USA, featuring racing from coast to coast, fast, friendly, and fun. Come join us at ROK Atlanta, ROK Pacific, Florida Winter Tour, or ROK Vegas. ROK Cup USA, home of ROK Vegas and the original Florida Winter Tour. ROK Cup USA, serious fun. Got grip? Let her rip. Putting the rubber to the road. Levanta.
He just literally said, nice knowing you guys. From Italy for the world. Vortex Engines. Powering ROK Cup champions worldwide.